guys selling those, and I thought that's the only way I'm going to wear one.
The Trump campaign sold them.
I refuse to wear them, but just because people are such pansies around here.
Only one I'd wear is
I like that one too.
I saw how the dance said, I ain't wear this, bitch. You shut the fuck up.
I like that.
I've only worn one twice. Once for the doctor, because I was pregnant. And once to do right, you know, right when I was weight was so high. And once to do the abuse. And I mean, that's
Yeah, I wore one to raise the microphone. I wore one just to raise the microphone. And I'm open to doing it other times.
She's going to do the half day or full day?
They're doing full days, they're doing a hybrid schedule. So she's going to Thursday and Friday. And yeah, they're having Tuesdays. In our school district, there's others. So I was planning on just doing the computer stuff instead of sending her to school at all. And she was sad about it, but she also didn't want to wear a mask because she doesn't think they're pretty.
They're not healthy.
I was like, yeah, I didn't say this to her, but in my mind, I'm like, yeah, they're not pretty, and you can't breathe. That's another good reason. But for her, it's more about the appearance, the cuteness factor. But
I'm with her. That is important.
yeah. But see, what they were going to do, and it was that if they had to have the mask on the entire time they were in school. Now they changed it before school started. They changed it and to where they only have to have a mask on if they're in the hallways or if they're like within 6 feet of each other. So, and they keep their desks 6 feet apart, which in kindergarten, they're not supposed to be in desks. They're supposed to be in little cute little tables, all smushed up together and cute, but whatever. She doesn't know the difference. I mean, she doesn't know what it's supposed to be like. She just does what it is.
Oh no, but I hate her missing that experience.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Are we live?
Yes.
Why didn't we know this?
This is how come I was so quiet.
Because that ne'er-do-well Yankee.
You didn't hear the music
It
playing?
took a knot in his
He
tail.
was hoping for a hot mic moment.
Did you not hear the music playing or no?
No.
I heard it.
You
It
did hear
changed
it?
last on Promises
Yeah, it was
Cat,
really unreally
where I couldn't
low.
hear what you're playing.
Y'all remind me in about like 3 minutes to go check the water that I've got on the stove. Because the other day I was making ramen noodles. That's a lie. The other day I was going to make ramen noodles. And I had the water in the pot. And then I did other things. And then I was like, something smelled funny. And I went in the kitchen and I had burned the water. It was all the way down to the nothing. Like there was nothing left but a pot and residue. And I guess it was whatever shit I have in my water that I was smelling.
Yikes.
Yeah. So it's the second time in my life. The last time was like 20 something years ago. So it's a pretty good record.
What the hell kind of country is this where I can only hate a man if he's white?
Thank you for the diamond, Boogie.
Oh, I guess I should get on so I can see things.
You're just lucky you didn't burn down your house. Don't feel bad, Kimmy.
No, I am not lucky because that is a goal of mine. I'm kidding.
To burn your house down?
Yes, I'm kidding, but I don't want to declutter my shit. I don't want to clean my stuff. I don't want to do any of this shit. It's too much. It's overwhelming, and I want it out of my life.
Well, that's one way to do it.
I'm just like, drop it. But see, I can't do it because I've made that joke too many times, and now I'm going to get busted if I ever actually burn my house down. So there went that.
I know, by accident. You'd be going, but it really was an accident. It really
Yeah,
was.
and I've got, I don't even know how many witnesses now.
don't feel bad because twice I have flooded my house. I mean, not flood the whole house, but like 2 rooms. Because I'm so
Ow.
bad about multitasking, and I'll
Oh.
start water and walk off and leave it, and then go, oh, I started water. Because I'm like, if you give a mouse a cookie kind of thing.
Okay.
I start out with running water, and then I think, okay, while it's running, I'm going to do this, which leads to that, which leads to another room, which leads you to this over here, and you forget all about that water running. So I did it. We spent, probably a good half a day shoveling water, turn on fans, got everything dried, and about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I did it again.
Oh gosh.
And I'm still married. Can you believe it? But I have been banned.
You must be good in bed.
I will. Hey, well, I hate to brag. No, I'm joking. But now I'm being banned from starting water and running and walking off. So I have a
Now
strict
you have to just sit there.
water
Huh?
policy. So hi, y'all. Welcome to the other guest. Phil,
Oh, yeah, we
would
haven't
you like
said
to
hello
introduce
yet.
everybody? We hadn't even
I was just waiting for you to
introduced
stop
everybody.
talking. That would have, if I let you go, it would have been at midnight before we got the introductions in. Let's see. First up is Grandma Smith. Grandma.
Well, I'd sort of like to open with the serenity prayer, which is God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. And with that said, my name's Grandma Smith, and I'm a racist. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm in recovery. I'm trying my best, but I don't know. I mean, I kept being told on Twitter and stuff that I just was born that way, and I just must have been hereditary.
Well, if you were born that way, then we should start a movement. We should start a movement. If racism is something you're actually born with, then it's no worse than being gay.
There you go. Let's
Mic
relax.
drop.
Boom.
But the rainbow has been taken. What do we use for like our colors?
Well, we certainly don't need a rainbow. We don't like all the colors.
We're racist.
We just need the one color.
It would just be
We
white.
just need white.
No,
Just
Caucasian.
white. Piece of cloth. Nothing on it
Or
because
it
we
could
don't
be
like other
different
colors.
shades of Caucasian, like the different, like everything from no pigmentation. We'll have to discuss whether or not we allow the people with, what are they called? Albinos. I don't know if we're going to allow albinos in our little club or not.
No, they're too.
Serenity now! Serenity now!
So like
We'll have
one
to do
shade
tiki
dark.
talk parades as well.
What was it?
We'll have to do tiki talk parades as well.
I think so.
Serenity now!
So we can get that nice glow on our skin that we so desperately need sometimes.
I mean, I'm so white that I put on extra sun protection because I don't want to. No.
It's the
we're
burn
not-
that's bad for you. And
Um,
But I like my whiteness.
The
So that means that we need to start a movement
being
against
oatmeal.
racist shaming.
The cherry popper.
They're racist.
Okay, now we've gone too
They're-
deep in. I don't know what that means.
The
I don't
cherry
know
popper.
what
Lives
it means
matter.
either.
Racist lives matter. Hashtag me too could take on a whole new meaning. I was born
check
with
your-
it. What was it? A good Lady Gaga song. We need to. What's it called? Reappropriate Lady Gaga song.
Wasn't it Born This Way or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the Maybelline commercial. Maybe
Renee
she's
wants me
racist.
to remind you. Renee wants me to remind you, Kimmy, to check your water.
Oh, thank you.
I was about
BRB.
to, and then I got distracted.
How many?
That's all I have.
I'm
That's all I have,
multitasking
Phil.
again.
That
How
was
many
my
co-hosts does it
introduction.
take to boil a pot of water? A lot more than 6.
You know, all we have to do is sit Siri and say, remind us. And
Serenity
tell her
now!
what it's
Serenity
good.
now! Serenity now!
So-
Serenity now!
Did everybody
That's
get
all I have
introduced?
for you, Phil.
Okay. Kimmy just left, so we'll go with UK Neil. What's up, UK Neil?
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Did we all enjoy the Democrat convention during the week? I mean, what absolute entertainment that was. I mean, who could take their eyes away from moments of Joe Biden walking out to an empty stage and clapping his hands, or Camilla smiling up at a screen with 20 people, of which at least 5 of those repeated. But to be honest, you know, I would rather watch 10 elephants pushed into a cage rather than watching that Democrat convention. What an absolute shit show. What a shit show.
It was
It
bad.
was embarrassing. It was,
Yeah.
well, I mean, especially because they have all of Hollywood at their disposal, and that was the best that Hollywood could come up with. Give me a freaking break. Also, I saw a really interesting article this afternoon where they were arguing that Biden had pre-taped that message because when he's doing his speech, he has a flag on his lapel and no watch. And when Kamala came out and joined him, he did not have the flag pin and he had a watch.
Yeah.
When he was reaching
Yeah.
out to her. So, you know, and Michael's message was not even current. POTUS pointed that out.
Wasn't current? What do you mean? I haven't
He
watched
had
any of
pre-taped
this.
it like a week or so before. And it wasn't, you could tell, they said by what she was saying or what she didn't say, that it had not been. I didn't watch it either because I cannot, I mean, she makes me grit my teeth. She jumps up and down on my last nerve. I just can't.
I thought one of the
or her.
Oh, I heard a
husband.
great expression recently, and they said something about someone dry
What the
humping
hell
their
kind of
last nerve.
country
I'm
is
like,
this
that
where
is
I can
the
only
best
hate a man if
expression.
he's
I've got to
white?
start using that. I'm glad you reminded me.
Or if you
Thanks-
really want to
thanks for
know
the
the
diamond,
full
Ben.
effect of the feeling, do you remember a show called Wings that
I
was so
do.
funny back in the day?
I
Yeah.
loved, yes.
I love that show. Well, they were talking about the first time a woman had sex on one of their episodes. And they were talking about how women always say, oh, it was wonderful, when in all reality it wasn't. And
Oh, I
so
remember
they
that
said
episode.
to get the full effect, to go up and it's like somebody hitting you on your arm. Well, you don't think that's going to be that irritating, but have somebody do that to you. I mean, if you have somebody in the room with you, have them come up and start just tapping you. Doesn't have to be real, real hard, just incessantly tapping you right there. And they did the whole mock, the woman doing, oh, yes, honey, that feels so good. While you're sitting there, and that's the effect that you're feeling. It's very funny just to see it. But that's what they do to me. That incessant, oh, dear God, stop it. You know. So I couldn't really watch it, but that's what they were
Chinese
saying.
water torture.
I'm saying.
Ben says he'd rather watch a lion hump an elephant and donkey.
Up next is Kimmy.
What am I doing?
Introducing yourself 30 minutes into
Oh.
the show.
Oh, okay. We haven't. I keep forgetting that's what we're still. Yeah.
We're still doing.
Hey,
First hour
everybody.
introductions.
Yeah, no. Hey, everybody. I am sorry that I have been missing. Actually, I'm not sorry because I don't apologize for things anymore. So, I miss being here with y'all the last however many times I've been gone. And I'm going to be gone again next week. Probably. Almost 100% chance that I'll be gone next week. But I'll be back the week after that. I know y'all missed me terribly, and I hate to put y'all through the pain. But
We did. It
sometimes
was hard to carry on.
it does build character. It does build character. And I hope that you've all learned whatever lesson you should have learned from it.
And it
Made me
makes us
stronger.
appreciate you all the more, Kimmy.
I think that was the lesson.
I'm
It
sure.
has to be that, yes.
Did we all learn it?
I
I
learned
don't.
it.
Grandma doesn't sound. I'm not convinced. I'm gonna have to miss next week.
Honest,
You sounds a little sarcastic to me.
I'm serious.
She's like,
I'm
yeah, I
serious.
learned it.
It was like,
Consider me educated, whatever.
I'm serious. It was like, what do we do with it? I mean, because you always add so much flavor. You add flavor.
Hey, can I tell y'all what I'm doing? Since I'm still introducing myself, I'm going to tell y'all what I'm doing. I am
boiling water?
I am boiling water. No. I'm now steeping coffee. I'm making a friendship bracelet.
Oh, cool.
For Piper. And would you like to know what I've been doing all fucking day? What? Making friendship bracelets.
Oh, look at that. Very nice.
It's green and yellow. Y'all do sound appropriately impressed.
You know,
looks like a
if
jellyfish.
You need a tutorial. I believe Obama and Joe Biden made friendship bracelets for each other.
They did. They have little pizza things on them. Pizza and what else?
They sure did. Yes,
probably hot dogs.
And you know, Joe Biden has that island. We were discussing it last night. Joe Biden has that island 9 miles away from Epstein's Island. And guess who paid for Ghislaine to get her submarine license and her flying license? Jeffrey Epstein.
Wait, what was the question?
Guess who paid for Ghislaine Maxwell to get her pilot's license for submarines and for flying? So,
I didn't know she was a pilot. I knew she did the submarines. Are you laughing at Ben's comments?
No, I'm laughing at Ben's comment.
I know. I'm struggling over here not to laugh.
What is a good way to move people without being seen?
No, he said I just made a friendship ink blot.
And I think he might have done it with his. Never mind.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I know.
Get your mind out of the gutter, or do share.
Well, I just know how dirty Ben can be, and I'm trying to learn how to think like him. I'm sorry, I'm not good at being dirty anymore. I'm not good at thinking like that. My head, I just don't stay in the gutter like y'all do.
I try to get my mind out of the gutter.
Well, that was not. Let me put it this way. Oh, I'm sorry, Grandma. Go ahead, bud.
Say Rusty hasn't been introduced yet.
We're going to be done with introductions, and it'll be time to tell everybody goodbye, and we'll have to spend another hour doing that.
Rusty, you still there?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself and everybody? How is everybody out there in the audience? Hopefully good.
Are you waiting for him to answer?
Yes, I am.
Let's just sit here and be quiet until we get an answer from all of them.
Yes, you got to yell real loud.
Pulling this scope over until they answer. We're glad to see you. Glad you're well.
Scary in my skull.
Did we miss Neil? We didn't have Neil last week. I'm so glad he's back too.
No, we got Neil. He talked about the convention.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right.
And speaking of the convention, ask me, what the hell was Joe waving at after his speech? He's waving at nothing.
Squares.
Or is it the imaginary little people in his head?
I think one of my personal highlights though was when old Michael Obama, the star of the show, the one that was going to turn the tide for them.
Well, the quarterback usually is the star.
When Michael Obama proudly states that, Trump put kids in cages, yet the very next day, even the mainstream media were going, actually, that was your husband, love.
And actually, not only did he do it, he built them.
She actually said that?
Yeah, he did. She did.
Why would you do that when you know it was your husband who did it and whatever.
Forgot I
narrative. They just
lied. What the hell do you think you're doing?
At this point, I'm starting to think that they're self-destructing on purpose and maybe even like at gunpoint. Because this shit is not like, this is so dumb. The stuff that they do is so transparently dumb.
Yeah, but Kimmy, there's people out there that believe this shit. They believe them. That you still see. There's still people talking about Russia
That
and
don't
how
know
Trump.
any better.
They're still talking about the P tapes, and
For
they're
the
like,
past
"You're
3
just going."
years, I've watched them implode.
God, you're stupid.
I think there's more people coming. I mean, I spoke to a couple of friends on the phone the last couple of days about this. What has happened the last probably 30, 40, beyond that years is there's been like this matrix world where everything's just false, everything's propagandized, very George Orwell style. And I think what's happened, particularly the last 5, maybe 10 years, is more people are stepping outside that matrix into the real world, which is what we all see. And I think that's happening en masse now. I think more and more people are stepping outside that matrix and going, whoa, what's going on here? Whoa, what's this symbol all about? Why is this celebrity doing that? And I think that's what's happening. These people, as you say, that are sitting there, believing everything they're told. I think that they're becoming less and less and less. I think more and more people are stepping outside the matrix now. Obviously, that's kind of put under the banner of the Great Awakening.
Well, I hope people are stepping out of the matrix.
Trickle to a deluge.
I don't even know if the things I think are true because everything. Never mind. I think about that.
What
sometimes.
the hell
I
kind of
believe what I
country is
believe,
this where I can only hate
or
a
I would
man
believe
if
something
he's
different?
white?
Obviously, right?
Thank you for the diamond. Coffee Talk with Sandra.
Sandra, but I
The
do
cherry
sometimes
pie.
wonder, like, maybe I'm the crazy one. I don't wonder that very often because I talk myself out of it very quickly. But sometimes I'm like, the dichotomy, not even the dichotomy is not even the right word, but like the sheer intensity with which the opposing viewed people believe what they believe and defend what they think. I'm like, one of us has been getting some really fucked up information. And
well, they dilute them. They don't want to deal with facts. They only deal with the way they feel about things. And feelings change so rapidly.
Well, like
they can't even keep up. In fact, I sent Phil a video of me trying to talk to a liberal the other day.
Oh, you did? Well, I gave birth to one of these crazy people, and I was having a conversation with her not too long ago, and the things that she had to say, and she was her and her boyfriend, the things that they were saying to defend their side of things, like they were convinced, for one thing, and the things that they were saying made logical sense. Like you could follow their path, and I could see how they got to where they got to, but you could tell that they were completely, well, not even completely really, but just so influenced by the narrative on mainstream media. And the fact that they're able to be so and they consider themselves to be like educated about this stuff. I mean, and they were very well educated about these topics, but they were educated by the media.
Mainstream. My husband says that about his coworkers all the time. I'll say this, and he'll say, it doesn't do any good if the majority of everybody in his department at his job believes CNN.
Yeah.
And he's going, they haven't woke up. And I'm going, there's going to come a point where it's not going to be anything they can deny.
Is it?
It's still things that are coming. I believe it will. And if not, we're in big trouble.
I've been focusing, Denise, as you know, on my Facebook page, I've been focusing only on one topic because it's not political, but it is. And that's hydroxychloroquine.
It shouldn't be political, but it is.
It is.
Well, we just turned friendship bracelets political, so anything's political these days.
Yeah, but I have posted, probably 75 studies. I've posted videos of doctors talking about how it's worked. I've posted news articles from all around the world saying, leadership, their government leaders are taking this as a prophylaxis. And I get these people coming into my thing going, that's bullshit and all this stuff. And it's just cognitive dissonance. But at the same time, I think I figured it out. These people, nobody wants to be fooled, right?
Right.
Nobody wants to think they've been fooled. And the people that argue with me most are really intelligent. Like there's one who's a veterinarian. He argues with me all the time. He always is like after me. I've got a guy who's in computer engineering. He always argues with me. So they're really, really. I've got another guy who literally worked at Los Alamos. I mean, he's truly a rocket scientist, and he sent up like the apparatus that it's the lens that they put in the Hubble satellite. So I mean, these guys are not stupid. But you when you get an ego like that who can never be wrong, you can't be wrong. And so you can show them 75 studies, but you're still wrong. I mean, they're
right.
peer-reviewed studies. And it's like, man, your cognitive dissonance is so far out there that, I mean, there's nothing you could do. There's nothing. It's like, it's dead. So they're going to learn the hard way. It's going to be bad. It's
So
going to be
here's
really
something
bad
linked
for 'em.
here's something linked to what you're talking about, Grammar, right? So obviously we know all about hydroxychloroquine. So here in the UK, we have Bojo, preaching about, vaccines incoming, etc. We're all being told wear masks, follow the COVID rules, etc., etc. So why doesn't Boris tell the people of the UK, and maybe even the world even, what cured him? Because it wasn't, Bob and Larry, the two nurses from New Zealand and Portugal, was it? Giving him hugs and kisses that cured him. What cured Boris? Because he certainly didn't take a vaccine. So maybe Boris should tell the world what cured him. I mean, this is the guy that was on death's door. If you read the media reports, Boris was literally the last dying breath. So what cured you, Boris? Why don't you tell the world? Well, because we all know what cured him. Trump said himself in the updates, I'm sending people over to help Boris out. It was hydroxychloroquine that cured Boris. But why is Boris not telling the world this? Or the media that continuously attack Trump? Because I tell you what, if Boris was to come out and say hydroxychloroquine cured him, well, the likes of the FDR, am I right there, the FDR, they'd be ruined. They'd have to shut shop and close because these are the ones now saying attacking it.
I mean, FDA. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you, there's two things that happened last week. Senator, I can't remember his name, but Lee and Cruz. What was the other one? I want to say Roberts, but that isn't it. They sent a letter to the FDA and said, we need this information. You can look it up on, actually it was under I found it under Dr. Zev Zelenko's Twitter feed. So they sent them a letter saying, we need the studies that you used to basically take it off the emergency use list. And we need you to tell us studies that are being used around the world or drugs that are being used around the world, among other things. And then the other thing that happened was in Virginia, their legislature introduced a resolution saying that doctors in Virginia should be able to use hydroxychloroquine at their discretion. Now that's got to be voted on, but I thought, man, we're getting there. We're getting someplace.
But why does that even have to be voted on? It's a prescription drug. It's legally,
because the FDA said you can't use it for COVID, and the doctors are handcuffed because the governors are going along with it, and they can't do that. That's illegal. I mean, it's illegal for them to do that.
This is nuts. So you have a drug like hydroxychloroquine that's been around for God knows how many years, right? Cured many, many, many things, right? But quite simply because Trump says it could do this.
What the hell kind of country is this where I can only hate a man if he's white?
He's taking this drug out of use that's been around for years and not done anybody any harm.
Thank you for the diamond,
it's absolutely
Sandra.
Nuts.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think and Trump tweeted about it again today. Oh, thanks, Sandra. Another one. We have the right to try. That's right, we do. But they don't. Not according to the FDA. The FDA. I mean, and the FDA is so. I mean, they're so far into this. It's not even funny. You think about, I mean, we're talking trillions of dollars. Because what happens is if you put hydroxychloroquine in the emergency use thing and it works, which we know it does, that means remdesivir, if it can be used as a prophylaxis and if it can be used as a treatment, that means remdesivir and a vaccine are no longer on the table.
Mm-hmm.
They can't it's done. It's kaput. So you
And
think
that's
about,
the problem.
That's the problem right there. That's the problem.
But hydroxychloroquine or not, we all know November 4th this is all going to stop. November 4th, it's all going to stop anyway. Suddenly, COVID will stop, and that's when the real trouble starts in the streets from the liberal left and the deep state.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty.
There's an executive order written for that. Which one? Which one, Sandra?
The right to try.
Well, yeah, for the right to try, but seriously, the FDA has said you can't. Well, what's happened is the FDA, when they took it down, those 2 studies that were bogus, and they retracted them, they never put it back on after they found out that those 2 studies were bogus. They never put it back on again, and the reason why is because then it would take remdesivir and any other drug treatment that they're studying, and as well as the vaccines, it would take it off the market. It would, they would just like have to drop it. So the governors are the ones that are saying, "Oh, you can't use it off label you're going to get in trouble if you use it off label." Well, there's still doctors out there, obviously, that are still writing scripts for it. I mean, if you remember in Texas, weren't they having issues with it? They were having trouble prescribing it.
The farm, it was the wasn't the FDA, it was like the Pharmacist Association, or it was something, kind of odd that was trying to prohibit it, but they got jerked a knot in their tail and they changed their tune pretty quick.
Well, what if you just decide that you're traveling to Africa and you need a malaria drug? Is your doctor going to check your passport and make sure in your plane tickets?
Someone should just take for the team, hire 1,000 planes, fill them up with hydroxychloroquine, fly over the USA and then later on the world, and just drop the hydroxychloroquine and just let everybody grab it. Take more for the team, do the jail time.
If you have a business account with Alibaba, you can buy a kilo of hydroxychloroquine for like $200, and it'll take care of your whole entire city. You just need to buy the gel caps. And one of those doctors, I don't remember which one, was saying, that was on the Supreme Court steps, was saying, do it. Go to Alibaba. You can buy your own. It just comes in a big bag and powder. Well, I don't have I don't have a business, so I can't, order it. But if somebody else has it, you could make some money if you wanted to.
What a weird thing to have to sell in the black market.
I know.
Well, if you'll come down, I'll order us some, and we'll sit out under the eaves, and we'll just make enough for all of our MAGA friends.
It's white powder. We can just snort it.
And I'm sure my neighbors won't call the police at all when they see us out there with all this white powder. They won't be alarmed at all.
No.
The thing is, though, Trump could turn around and go, a cup of coffee or a cup of tea cures COVID-19, and they'd eradicate tea and coffee. Anything. Trump could say this piece of paper cures COVID. They'll take paper off the market, and you'll never see paper ever again in your life.
It's true. And honestly, before he said that hydroxychloroquine was beneficial, or that they were looking into it to see if it helped, or if they had some good results from it, whatever it was he said at the very, very beginning, before he even said that, they were saying, they were saying on the media that it was good. That, I don't know if y'all remember that, but when Trump mentioned hydroxychloroquine, it wasn't the first time we heard of it.
No, actually,
the French. There was a French study, right?
Yes, Tucker covered it on his show before it was covered, because that same weekend, Phil and I discussed it on Promises Kept, and I said it's going to be the silver bullet. It's the silver bullet. I mean, the minute I heard about it, it's one of those moments where your soul knows the truth and you know what, this is it. This is the answer. And I just felt that way from the very first moment that I heard about it. And it was very early on.
And that's when I started doing the digs. I was like, all right, I'm going to search now, because poor scholar.google.com got burned up on my end. Because it was like there were tons of studies, tons. And like Renee said, or somebody said, in 2005, Fauci was the one who said it was okay, and it worked on the coronaviruses. And now it's like, now it's not. It's just so sketchy.
I forgot about it.
Yeah. Well, that and the fact that he's got.
Do you want to? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Grandma.
I was going to say he's got 8 people from Gilead Sciences on his COVID panel, and Gilead's the one who makes remdesivir, along with 3 other people who work for companies that are developing a vaccine. Now, you tell me that's not a little
conflict of interest.
Serving a couple of purposes there, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You got
the whole thing is
pharmaceuticals.
a sickle nest of ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah.
You've even got. You've even got Boris. I think Boris was speaking about it, or somebody in our politics over here. You've got one of the big pharmaceutical companies in the USA who are now looking to move their business to the UK. Now that worries, being a Brit, that worries me, because that says, right, because Trump's now shut shop on the pharmaceutical, the farmers, the big pharmaceuticals. Why would Boris allow them to start working there, what they've done in the USA over here?
Exactly. Yeah, it's just
we're working
so
on a
corrupt.
2008 Ford Focus.
All right, what do you got for us, Phil? You were going to say something.
No, I wasn't saying it.
I was going to say, Phil, show us that video of me trying to talk to that liberal. It's the same thing that Grandma's experienced with her friends on Facebook.
Nutballs.
Hold on a second.
He's figuring it out. Okay.
Oh, while you're waiting, I just seen something where authorities arrested somebody in Chicago, an ex-mayor.
What?
Today, the feds charged former Cook County Commissioner McCook, Mayor Jeffrey Tolbitsky, his one role in the extortion plot. So they were trying to do extortion in Cook County.
Okay.
That's up in Chicago area.
2 counts of criminal information filed against him marked the latest domino to fall in a swirling federal corruption investigation that has touched the Democrat Party key suburban political players.
Did that not happen in was it LA as well? There was a Democrat councillor that was extortion, that was done for extortion as well. That was about a month
that
ago.
one.
That was about a month ago.
Yeah, if they can get Lightfoot, that'd be great.
¿Qué pasa en su corral? Zapatero, ¿qué opina usted del gobierno de Zapatero? Pues igual que yo. ¿Y qué opina usted? ¿Qué opina usted? ¿Qué opina usted del gobierno canario? ¿Y de los ayuntamientos de la isla? Vamos a ver, ¿qué es lo que pasa con los alcaldes? ¿Qué es lo que pasa con los alcaldes? ¿Qué está pasando con los alcaldes? ¿Qué está pasando con el... ¿Qué pasa con el presidente del gobierno?
Fascist. Nazi. Misogynist.
That's pretty good.
I thought that was talking to a liberal.
I'm gonna go get my coffee now. I just saw a reminder to check my water, which reminded me to go get my coffee.
It's steep by now.
I know.
She's checking right now, Renee. She's going.
Oh, I get it. I get jokes.
Yes, I grew up. Well, actually, I grew up. I saw part of it because I fell asleep.
Saw part of what?
But it's good. The documentary, Plandemic with Judy Mikovits. Yeah, yeah,
that was good.
But they have trashed her so bad. They have made her look like a whack job, and it's just so irritating what they've done to her. They've destroyed that woman.
It's sad, isn't it?
Yeah,
they've been
what
so
they've done
ugly to her.
Yeah, it's, and here she is just telling the truth. And she is. She knows her stuff. You can tell she knows her stuff. But they've just trashed her.
Every one of them. Dr. Emmanuel, the other woman doctor that was out there with all of them, they were very impassioned, very intelligent, thoughtful, conscientious physicians. You can tell that they are speaking what they believe. And they were, reviled by the media and treated the same way. Anybody that goes against their narrative is going to get that treatment.
Yeah.
Because it's their way or the highway. There's no room for negotiation. Yeah. There's no room for differing opinions. Just like with the hydrochloroquine. It's not enough to say, well, you know what? If you want to bet your life on it, you can take it. Oh, no, they've got to go out and smear it just so they can make a buck. They would sell their own mother for 30 pieces of silver, honestly.
Yeah. Well, Bobby Kennedy Jr., they've smeared him. He's a Kennedy. You know what I mean? And he's really against vaccines, and he backs up Judy Mikovits wholeheartedly, and they're calling him names and stuff. I mean, it is beyond crazy what they've done.
The cabal is in absolute panic at the moment. You've got to look at they're in so much panic. They're not realizing the mistakes they're making. And this is why, I love this from Trump. The night after the Democrat convention, he did that speech at I forget what it was. He was outside, he was inside, and I forget what it was, but it was on Friday morning. No, Friday morning.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, and he literally like walks out, as cool as you like, as calm as you like, just no stress about him, no panic. He knows he's put all the information on. He knows he's got this election locked down. They're going to try. He knows they're going to try even worse leading up to November. But do you know what? He's got a cool head about him because he knows exactly what's going on. But you look at the Democrats, and it's literally right. So get Twitter to ban any QAnon accounts. Get rid of hydroxychloroquine. Do this, do that, and literally, if people aren't seeing what these Democrats are doing, they're literally not paying attention because they're just in absolute panic at the moment. By their actions, and they're not even hiding anything what they do anymore. We know that a lot of the stuff they've done, they've managed to hide because they've had a president that's covered a lot of it up. But they're now in absolute panic that they're just doing everything in front of people now. And even your hardened Democrat supporter may have voted for the Democrats for like 30, 40 years. It's suddenly going, no, I'm not liking this. I think I'm going to vote Trump. And this is what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree. You're gonna have your soft, moderate Democrats and independents come over here on their side because they're not liking what they're seeing.
Well, something that happened tonight that kind of disturbed me a little bit is that there was a gal on Facebook, and she came out and said, "I'm voting for Joe Biden," and some of my friends just attacked, and it wasn't cool. It's like, my God, you're acting like them. Stop it. I mean, it was bad, and it was just like, oh my God, it was bad. And it makes us sound just as crazy as them and we go after them. It's like, let her vote that. How about you show her some reasons why she shouldn't instead of just going, are you stupid? You know? And it was like, oh, God. I mean, people need to just calm the hell down. I just, when people post stuff that they see on CNN, I don't say a word. All I do is I just post a counter thing that proves them wrong. I don't say a word. I just put something on there, just a little article or a video or whatever that destroys their narrative. I mean, that's the way you get them. You don't say anything nasty. You just prove them wrong, destroy their narrative. That's all you can do. Because it makes you look just as bad, That's my opinion. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, or if you think we should just take them out and behind the barn and get rid of them.
Well, if you can totally get rid of them so that they can't vote, then that might be the preferable way. But barring that,
just lock them up until after the election.
Barring that, I think maybe trying to catch flies with sugar, from what I hear, is the way to go. But I'm also thinking maybe some of these flies can't be caught, y'all. You just gonna have to face it. Some of these people are never.
Well, that's it. You're just gonna have to just give up a few of them. That's the way it is. But you can't say no. You can't vote that way because we're just as bad as them.
Right. Well, like
I found if you just put a point out there, like well, what was the deciding factor for you? What makes you want to vote for him? And then it gives you points of discussion. It kind of lures them out. It's kind of like on a sales call. You're trying to make a sale, and the employer's job is to put up objections. And so what I use is, I used to feel that way. Others have too. And this is what I found. It's called feel, felt, and found. I used to feel that way. Others have felt that way too. It's acknowledging their feelings. And then you go right into your counter narrative and you overcome their objection. And then you sit there and wait. And that's the hardest part, is holding your tongue after you put your counter out there, because the next person that speaks loses.
Yeah, that's a good sales, like in sales phrase.
It is, because you give them your pitch, then you wait for the employer to give you their objections. You overcome that objection, you ask for the sale again, and then you shut up, because the next person that talks loses. They'll either come out with another objection that you can overcome and ask for the sale again, and you be quiet again, or they will acquiesce and you have made a sale. And I have found in politics, it's a lot the same way. If you just blast them like, because, we all know so much about politics because we're junkies, that you could probably mow them down with facts, but you've alienated your audience. So if you take it point by point and say, I used to kind of feel that way. I was kind of thinking on that, but this is what I found. It validates their feelings, but it gives you a chance to gently oppose their point and then ask for the sale again. And that's for them to consider your position.
And I think that's really good. But the people that generally that I post facts to, I'm not going after them. That's not my target, because they're lost. They're gone. I'm looking at the people that look at their
mm-hmm.
and go, oh shit, because they're gone. They're lost. But tonight
but what Doc said would still work for those people that came, would.
But if I say anything, I can't.
I see what you mean.
Some people you're not going to win with. Yeah, and Q has told us that if you're a Q reader, he's touched on the fact that there is 25% of the population that we will never regain. And
I thought it was like 4 to 6.
That's what I thought.
I don't like that number.
I understood a minimum of 25%. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's a certain percentage that we're never going to reach.
Right.
That, because sometimes it's not just a matter of giving them facts. It's a matter of that they will have willful denial. And that's,
Well, and
I think,
also,
what you're talking about with your friends, Grandma.
Yeah.
You're not going to make them think any different no matter what facts you present to them.
but do you know, like, when you think about, like, what I said earlier about my daughter and her boyfriend, like, their thinking is well founded as far as, like, it makes sense. Like, it's not like they just saw.
They've just got the wrong facts.
Right. And so when you think of it like that, and you've got people like, because I can ask them, we can have a discussion and I can find out exactly like why they think this thing. They're not going to say that, whatever. They're not going to give their side of a issue and not have anything to back it up. Like when people say, why do you hate Trump? And they can't say anything except he's a racist, but they can't tell you why he's a racist. They're not those people. They know why they think what they think, and you can go down the logic trail with them. But oh shit, I had a point. Oh, and it's those people that I'm the most worried about, because you can't blow their argument up as well, because what you come in to say makes no sense to them at all, because they've truly thought about their position, as wrong as they may be. They've truly thought about their position, and they've done the research with Chris
But
Cuomo.
have you ever considered the fact that perhaps you're not being told the truth by these people?
Oh, that's another thing, is they don't believe the media. You know what that means?
They don't believe.
That means they think they don't believe the media. Like they really and truly think that
yeah,
they get their information from the media, but they get it from like the doctors in the media, and the doctors are telling them this and the doctors are saying that. So it doesn't matter to them that it's on CNN or on Fox or on whatever. What matters to them is that they're seeing a doctor say this thing. And so that completely negates the.
Have you tried, like, for example, with Fauci, where he took opposite positions and pointed out that maybe it can be for political or financial gain, that a lot of experts, just like with climate change, one of the reasons why a lot of the scientists have gone along with this bull crap about climate change is because that's where the money is with the grants. They can be bought off with.
Yeah,
with those kind of things. I mean, do you ever introduce that into the argument with them?
I didn't talk to them specifically about Fauci. We did talk about it.
He was just an example, though, of how even experts you see on TV can be bought off.
Right, and they believe that, and they know that. It's still that. My point is
they
that
think they've found the truth.
Yeah, they think they found the truth, and then when you deposit something into their minds that doesn't fit in with any of what they think are the facts, then what you just said is obviously crazy, because it doesn't make sense to anything that they believe. And just like us, like here's what we think this thing, and we have these great reasons for thinking these things, and we've come to these conclusions with a good logic, based on the facts that we found. And then someone comes to you and says blah blah, which makes complete sense to them, but it sounds like absolute horseshit to you because it doesn't fit in with any of the things that are in your brain about the topic. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I think that a lot of people are in that danger zone, and some of us too, are in that danger zone of not being able to consider that we might be wrong about something, just because what we have in our head makes sense to us, and it's not one of those
stuff.
I think that depends on how. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think that depends on how open-minded you are to interpreting different things. It's like, I consider myself, that kind of all singing, all dancing Trump supporter. But there are broadcasters I watch that completely dislike Trump and, agree with nothing that I would say in my own shows or to other people. But the thing is, I may watch them either because they are good at putting their point across, or they may be good at what they do in presenting what they have to say. I'm not somebody. I'm very much an advocate for free speech. So I'm not going to go and watch somebody that doesn't like Trump and just go, I may like what they say, but I'm not going to watch it because they don't support Trump. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna sit there and listen, and if they say something that intrigues me, then I may go research. I may look at it. It may slightly change my way of thinking because of the way they presented it. But it's not normally going to change my way of thinking because my main form of thinking is how I look at things and how I resolve things in my head that was presented in front of me. So yeah, I think it depends on how open-minded you are. I mean, you get a lot of people that are like, I'm open-minded, and then as soon as somebody says something they don't like, they're like, well, you're talking absolute crap. Well, I thought you was open-minded.
Right. And I consider myself too open-minded, to be perfectly honest. That's why I question my own beliefs half the time. But my daughter is relatively open-minded, but her boyfriend is not, and he's got a lot more influence over her than I do. So, but yeah, I'm not trying to solve the issues between my daughter and me, because we can do that. It's not like we've got this bridge that we can't cross or anything. I'm just using this as an example of how hard it's going to be, because the things that we think make absolute no sense to them. Because one of the things that they said was that the reason that COVID is still around and the reason that we still have to wear masks, the society, not, the reason society or whatever is still being required to wear masks is because of people like me and y'all that did not wear masks in the beginning. And if we had just worn our masks like we were supposed to do and stayed home and self-quarantined for 2 weeks, and it would have eradicated COVID to begin with,
but if their masks work, it wouldn't be an issue for them.
No, because
if masks work, then that shoots a hole in their theory right there.
But it doesn't shoot a hole in their theory, because if, let's say, half of the population is wearing a mask, I'm just making up that percentage, obviously, but like if half the population is wearing a mask and the other half of the population is not, well, then half of the population that's not wearing a mask, they're still spreading COVID all over the world.
But they can't spread it to them if they're wearing a mask.
No, I'm not saying that they're concerned about themselves getting a mask. I'm saying that they're saying that the reason that the country is still shut down and the reason people can't go back to work and the reason that we're still being required to wear masks.
We're spreading it to other non-mask wearers.
No. Well, yeah. And to the environment in general. Like I take my dirty ass to the counter and I get COVID all over it. And then somebody else comes along. And so we're spreading COVID, period. I mean, that's just what they're saying. But if we had all acquiesced and worn the mask in the beginning and self-quarantined in the beginning for 2 weeks, then it would have been eradicated altogether and we could all be free and nobody would be even thinking about masks right now. Because
but Fauci told us we didn't have to, and so did the guy the Attorney General or the Surgeon General.
Right.
You remember?
Oh yeah, no, I do remember. I'm not arguing for their point.
No,
I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm just telling you what they're
thinking.
I get it.
I'm telling you, like that's their way of thinking. And so for me
tell them
to
not
say,
to worry, because we're going to all die off pretty soon anyway, if that's the case.
And for me to come in and say that I don't want to wear a mask because of this or that, because of my compelling reasons don't make sense to them, because all I have to do is put on a mask for 2 weeks and then the whole problem be solved. And it's just a matter of doing it for a couple of weeks and everything will be good. So like,
seeing my daughter,
our arguments don't make any sense to each other because we're so entrenched in what we think and we have good reasons for thinking it on both sides. And they're crazy and they're wrong.
But you understand why they think that way.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
My daughter is a little different. She understands all of that. But Haley goes, when we went out to Walmart the other day and I was walking in without a mask, she was kind of embarrassed and she said, Mom, why do you fight that so hard? And I said, Haley, the thing is, they're indoctrinating you to obey.
Mm-hmm.
They're practicing giving you presenting a certain set of facts to you to get you to comply with something that has no basis in science. And they're watching to see if you cooperate, how easily, how willingly, how much, all that kind of thing. And I said, you can either research it for yourself and decide if you think a mask is effective or not, and think for yourself about whether you think you should be wearing one and act on your convictions, or you're going to be allowing peer pressure to pressure the way you live the rest of your life. It's time. Daddy and I have shielded you as long as we can while you're not home. You know, you are pretty much a princess in training, but when you're out in the real world, you've got to decide if you're going to live the way you think is right, based off of what you research and what you know to be true, or if you're going to allow others to
What the
tell you how to
hell
live
kind
the
of
rest of your
country
life.
is this where I can only hate a man if he's white?
Thank you for the diamond, Becca.
Well, that's like I went to Menards today, and of course I'm not going to wear a mask. But I'll take my hanky and I will hold it 5 inches away from my face, so it's not covering my face. And some guy looks at me and goes, "Wow, I've never seen anybody do that before." I go, "Yeah, I don't have to wear a mask." Then I just
Right.
put it back in my pocket when I'm ready.
Yeah, and you don't have to wear a mask. But I guess I'm just saying that for them, us not wearing a mask is not about freedom or not freedom. Like, to them, it has nothing to do with freedom. It has to do with they could have their freedom back and we could all have our freedom if we would just give up our freedom for 2 weeks. Then everybody could be free and not.
What the hell kind of
Comply
country
and
is
do
this
what
where
the
I can only
dictators
hate
tell
a
you to
man
do,
if
and
he's
then
white?
they'll let you be free after that.
Thank you
The
for the
problem that
diamond.
they will learn with time is that once you comply with the dictator, they don't ever take that foot off your neck.
No, they don't. No,
and,
they don't.
And they will learn that, but that too is something that comes with age and experience a lot. You know, you have to experience having somebody have their foot on your neck in order to know that it's an unpleasant experience and you don't want to ever experience it again. And a lot of the issue with the younger people is that they've never experienced true oppression. They don't. We tell them the horrors of war, the horrors of being controlled by a dictator or our government, but they have no frame of reference for that. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Phil, Ben wants in.
No, they don't.
I don't know if you saw that.
But
No,
you know, I hear this every day practically. Well, you should wear a mask. Da, 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 da. I said, you know what? If you want to wear one, go right ahead. But I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. Kind of going back to kind of what Kimmy was saying there, by they can kind of do what they do and we can kind of do what we do. Well, that's fine. You know, I'll be honest. That most of the people that you know, are kind of anti kind of COVID would be happy to let them do their thing. Mm-hmm. It's the people on the side of you must wear masks, you must do that.
Of my daughter, it's the people on my daughter's side who say that we're the ones fucking up the world.
Yeah, but we haven't got a problem with them wearing their masks and stuff. They've got a problem with those of us that don't wear the masks.
Right, and they see us as dangerous.
Their methods on us.
Well, and the ones with the good motives or whatever, such as my daughter, like they think that we're actually creating a problem. Like it's not that they think we should obey. It's that they think that we're the problem. Like there's a problem that we are causing this to last longer than it has to. And it's just the same thing. I mean, I'm with you on all of that because like if you're never mind.
Phil, did you hear me? Ben's in the waiting room.
Is he? That's nice.
Yeah.
You get to fix the boxes.
I'm not going to. Fuck it.
It's
Oh, fuck this shit. I'm out.
It's just I can't remember what you said, Neil. I wanted to respond to it because I agreed with it, and there was something I wanted to say about it.
Was it that something I did want to say about that was, you know, that over the years that I've been on social media, I've been kind of surprised at the number of people that go, oh, you listen to that person? I don't like them, or I don't agree with them. And I'm going, I listen to them whether I agree with them or I like them or I don't. Because what if they have a nugget of truth in there that confirms why I think something or gives me a new perspective on it, whether I like them or I don't. Or sometimes when you listen to somebody that you disagree with, it just reaffirms why you believe the way you do. Sometimes it shows you that you don't have enough information. You need to go back and do more research. But sometimes it confirms, yeah, that's why I believe the way I do. So I listen regardless of whether I like somebody or I don't, whether I think that they are on my side or think the way I do or not. I listen to a lot of opposing opinions just for that reason. Plus, it keeps you flexible, I think.
It is good. It's good to help you buttress your own arguments for one thing. But another thing is just like, what if you are wrong and you don't ever give yourself a chance to hear an opposing opinion? You're just going to spend the rest of your life being wrong. I'd rather.
What if they have a fact or information you didn't have when you made that decision?
Yeah, and now you could change your opinion about something and be right.
Well, it also allows you to be informed about, like, for instance, somebody
like the other side.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were talking about, oh, have you heard these flat Earth theories? And it's like, yeah, I mean, you gotta educate yourself on this stuff so at least you can go,
I'd like to make a point that Boogie made, right? What Boogie said, right? If we all sat in a room and we all agreed together, then it'd be a very boring world at the end of the day. And you know what? I completely agree with that theory. I could sit in a room with somebody that doesn't support you. I could sit in a room with a snowflake liberal. And as long as they're not sitting there stamping their feet and having a tantrum, I'll be more than willing to discuss what they want to discuss.
Yeah. Another saying about that the thing that I like better than that one is if we all agree on everything, then one of us isn't necessary. Or if we both agree on everything, then one of us isn't necessary. Like I don't want any friends that I agree with completely on everything, because who's going to grow in that relationship?
Variety is a spice of life.
Right? Yeah, well, and yeah, it is a spice of life. And then if
how
are you supposed to learn from?
Same.
Yeah, and I don't like arguing and fighting or anything, but
you know what? It doesn't make me not like somebody because I don't agree with them all 100%.
Well, I like to have my mind challenged.
Yeah, and you can still enjoy that person whether you agree with them 100% or not. Where I have a problem is if you don't allow me to have my own opinion, then it isn't free.
That's right.
And that's where I have the issue.
And that gets me back.
I have several people that, over the years that have chosen to no longer enjoy the fruits of my delightful company because, I might not agree with them on something. And I'm going, well, that doesn't mean we can't like each other anyway. But for them, sometimes it is a deal breaker. And, that is their loss.
Called dialogue and exchanging ideas.
Yeah.
And I got to say that does...
Sorry.
He's muted.
Benjamin. That does concern me, though, as far as my boyfriend, what's her name? My daughter and her boyfriend are concerned, because my daughter would never break up with me because of political differences, because we've been able to have lots of discussions where we disagree with each other. But I don't know, like, it worries me, like, how much influence does he have on her as far as the things that he says? Like, if he ends up not liking me because of our political differences, like, what's that going to do to mine and her relationship? Hopefully nothing.
Hi.
But it might.
Well, let me put it this way. It's
Benjamin.
difficult. If you have a good relationship with your daughter, it'll be difficult for him to come between you.
Yeah,
Not impossible, but it will be difficult. And that's why I would work extra hard to keep those communication channels with him open and encouraging open dialogue and reiterate to him that in your family, y'all love in spite of difference, not,
What?
you know, you don't cut off a relationship because someone thinks differently, that you believe in freedom and model it for him. And in the long run, you may be a very positive, influence on him. Hey, Ben, I'm sorry I didn't mean to go on. How
When
are
we
you,
left,
doll?
I was just gonna say that if Phil would shut up for a second, I could introduce myself.
I mean, honestly, he's
just a
he
chatterbox.
just talks. He just goes on incessantly.
I think feels like I'm off to the pub. It's just disappeared.
Hello,
I don't leave you
everybody.
people. I'll check on you for 4 hours. So what you been doing, Ben?
I've been working and making noise, so I decided to be quiet for a second so I can call in because you guys got my interest when you were talking about hydroxychloroquine and all this stuff and difference of opinions. So I don't know. It's, of course, hydroxychloroquine should be a right of choice of the individual. But look at us, and I'm saying look at the Trump supporting side begging for drugs for an asymptomatic virus.
Right.
And I think it's more of a
with a
metaphor.
97% survival rate. Good fuck.
Right. We don't believe the numbers of the cases. We don't believe the numbers of the deaths. How can you trust the media when they give you polls like we saw in 2016? And those are undisputable truths.
What we covered on
that they
Thomas's
gave you.
Cap. 18 was just as bad.
Yeah. And I mean, look at Trump supporters begging for drugs for a virus that doesn't exist. I mean, as far as what we can prove. I mean, there's stories out there of somebody that knows somebody that died from it. So yeah, there's some truth to it, and you should have the freedom to be able to choose what drug is successful and not be blocked by your officials, of course. But I think it's more of a metaphor that Trump is using for his supporters, saying, like, if you're sick of the bullshit, trust me on this, and you won't have to do this anymore. Right?
Wait, what do you think's the message he's giving us? If you're sick of the bullshit, trust me on this. You know what to do. Trust me on what?
Trust him to do on what? Trust him on what?
Well, because he's now he spoke out of both sides of his mouth, in my opinion, because he was talking about the military being able to help with the process of distributing vaccinations. So everybody got all up in arms about what he said then. And he's mentioned throughout this whole time that hydroxychloroquine is another option. So people are picking and choosing their preferred method. And then today, I think it was today, he just signed that preferred nations executive order targeting the prices of drugs, like targeting big pharma. And so his executive order is basically a match price with the lowest price that any country in the world is paying for the same medication. They're not going to mark it up 70% just because we're wealthier.
I like Henry St. George Tucker, Bumper Politics wise, comment. The cure method I want involves arresting Bill Gates. Yeah, but you're right. So we're being told to pick our poison when we may not even necessarily need to take it either way. Like,
yeah, we don't need to choose between a vaccine and a drug.
Right. So you can either be team.
We should have the right to choose a drug that's safer clinically than a vaccine. There's a lot less unknowns with hydroxychloroquine because it's been used a hell of a lot more. And if you look at the COVID world map, Africa has like zero COVID problem because they take hydroxychloroquine to drink dirty water.
Right, against malaria.
And we don't need it. I mean, hydroxychloroquine isn't going to fix lead in your water, but that's not
Well,
our problem.
I think, you
Our
know,
problem
my
is
biggest concern is my mom, who's 90 years old. If she gets sick, I don't want her to suffer through this crap. I mean, you know, it's like, because if you get the bad strain, it's like,
Precisely.
My 84-year-old mother-in-law and her boyfriend and my uncle-in-law all have woohoo. My uncle-in-law, they just put him on
we're not-
hospice.
we're
But
fighting for rights here.
She can't.
We're not talking
yes,
about like,
see, she can't get hydrochloroquine. I asked my mother-in-law. I said, "You need to ask your doctor immediately for hydrochloroquine," and because she's been having some pretty tough symptoms, and I was worried about it progressing. But she can't get it. She ought to have the right to make up her own damn mind.
Mm-hmm.
right, we're talking more. This is more of an issue of ownership of human life, which you would think the 13th Amendment would have covered that by now. That the state or an individual can't own another individual. I mean, having children, that's a different having a dependent is different than having ownership over another human being. What they're saying right now is that the government has ownership over all human beings, and anybody that's in the custody of the government has no rights to say no to anything, and they don't get to choose anything. So it's the inmates,
I will say,
old folks' homes that are at most risk, and then they're trying to add the school system to that. So they're trying to add that HIPAA doesn't apply to elementary school kids.
What?
Did I know that?
HIPAA applies to everybody from birth.
No, I listened to where these rules are coming from. There was a broadcast out of Florida where there was a Zoom meeting, and it was a hearing. Since everything is digital now it can be broadcast, and we get to hear where these rules are created. And it was school board officials, attorneys, health officials, and a judge all on this board meeting talking about how to reopen schools and what legislation they should pass and what mandates need to be passed immediately before legislation can happen. And the doctor was dictating everything about the reopening of schools. She was advocating for test facilities at the schools, and she even mentioned that HIPAA doesn't apply to the school kids.
That's bullshit.
Because
I have to be certified. I'm licensed. HIPAA applies from birth.
Yes.
And there are very severe consequences if you don't adhere to that.
Well, this is a medical professional dictating how things are supposed to go. So that's where the rules are created. And she said that FERPA, which I've never heard of, overrides HIPAA. And so HIPAA doesn't apply to school children. So that's the tool that they're going to manipulate, because nobody's heard of
FERPA. What's FERPA?
I have no idea. Must be a state thing, because the F must stand for Florida.
Wow.
Or it could, maybe it could be federal.
Get this, at University of Michigan, they're telling all the students that they must load an app on their phone, and they must be tracked at all times, or else they will not be allowed to come to school there.
And they have to stay within a certain geographical zone, and that app tracks them.
I think I'm seeing so far is a fish.
There's another college in, I believe it's Tennessee, that said the moment the vaccine is available, that all of their students are required to get it.
It looks like it's the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Say it again.
Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, and it's the U.S. Department of Education.
And what does it read?
It's federal law that protects the privacy of student education records. The law applies to all schools that receive funds under an applicable program of the United States Department of Education. FERPA gives parents certain rights with respect to their children's gives parents certain rights. First of all, that pisses me off. With respect to their children's education records. These rights transfer to the student when he or she reaches the age of 18 or attends school, blah, blah, blah. Students to whom the rights have transferred are eligible students. Hold on. Parents or eligible students have the right to inspect and review the student's education. So it's the right to look at their education records.
Yeah. But
Wait,
that
can,
can't
can
usurp
this be
that cannot usurp HIPAA.
Right.
can that be used? Can that be used lawfully to mask or conceal gender transition therapy
From whom?
the parents?
From the parents?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a non-custodial parent in Texas, they just gave the custodial parent the rights to transition their kid against the other parent's wishes. If you've been following that case, it's horrific.
Why?
So,
Why does
yeah, I could see
transition?
where they would keep something from one parent if they're not the custodial parent after a divorce. I can definitely see where a school would use that to keep information from that non-custodial parent. They would adhere to the divorce decree.
FERPA does not seem to supersede HIPAA.
It might run in conjunction with, but which makes total sense because that's what gives you access to your kids' records. And after the age of 18, you know, you can't call on behalf of your kids to the doctor or anything else anymore. They've got to call because they're adults. In the eyes of the law, they're adults. They're emancipated.
Well, I'm just going based on what I heard from the doctor's mouth. Like she
she's contorting is what she's doing to try to make her point.
Doctors are not lawyers, and they're not elected officials. Right. So
wait a minute though. Here it is. Generally, schools must have written permission from the parent or eligible student in order to release any information from a student's education record. However, FERPA allows schools to disclose those records without consent to the following parties or under the following conditions: school officials with legitimate educational interest, other schools to which the student is transferring, specified officials for audit or evaluation purposes, appropriate parties in connection with financial aid to the student, organizations conducting certain studies for or on behalf of the school, accrediting organizations to comply with a judicial order or lawfully issued subpoena. Here it is. Appropriate officials in cases of health and safety emergencies. That's their loophole right there.
Loophole.
Mm-hmm.
Read it again. Read that again.
The wording is appropriate officials in cases of health and safety emergencies. So basically, the reason this is in here is if your kid falls down, breaks their head, and a doctor has to come, we're allowed to give them their records. We're allowed to give this kid's records to this doctor for treatment. But medical because of the way it's worded, it's very open. They can decide.
Let's backtrack that.
They could say a woohoo is an urgent matter.
Yeah, or we decided that this particular person or these particular people are, quote, appropriate officials. Like we've decided, like we know they get to decide what an appropriate official is. It's not defined.
Right. Ooh, so you can backtrack this legislation back to the lobbying for the law.
Yeah.
For the bill. Yeah. You can it's obvious. It's
and the Department of Education.
Obvious. Well, yeah, everybody gets their pockets lined. So you can trace it back to who has the most spending power, and that goes to who has the most weight in lobbying. So Big Pharma has the most spending power. It's the number one lobby in DC. They can lobby for loopholes, and they can mask it as something completely different. And what they're really after is the loophole. They'll spend $1 million in every county or more to try to give a loophole in there. I mean, this sounds like a federal loophole. So they must have spent hundreds of millions on lobbying for this loophole that's not even described in the main law. You have to read the fine print to find
of the law. Mm-hmm.
But I could even see this being started with what's it called? I can't remember what it's called, but like with good intentions, because if your kid does get sick at school, you want them to be able to give records.
Like
to
if Haley had an asthma attack at school, you'd want them to be able to tell the doctor that she has a history of asthma.
Good faith. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, so it could be that this was done in good faith. I don't know. But whether it was or not, the wording of this
was left too broad.
Yeah, I mean, it's appropriate officials, so they get to define what that is. And then in cases of health and safety emergencies, COVID, they could easily say that, that this is a health emergency. The fact that so-and-so, that this many students have this, or, that this particular student has a positive test result, that is a health emergency. Not for that student, but for the rest of society. They could do that. I bet she's right.
Yeah, they could. They contort it. And the Dems and the Libs, they are infamous for molding things to suit or molding the narrative of any given circumstance to their cause. They have no morals or any compunction against using anything.
I bet this, I could be wrong, obviously, but it's possible that the wording of this was done so that they could have more control over students as far as taking them away from parents.
Parents, right?
Because if you think of cases of child abuse or neglect, or they don't get their lunch often enough or whatever, you could consider that a safety emergency for that child. And the appropriate official.
They could manipulate just about anything into being a health matter or an urgent matter.
And to take your kids away.
Yes.
Well, this is something for the boss.
Yeah.
Is that that's a federal? That's a federal.
I mean, if I had
kids,
U.S.
Department of Education
law.
Speaking of DeVos, and I'll leave after this so you guys can talk and I'll listen. But speaking of DeVos, I had a really good idea today that Trump should publicly fire DeVos and offer her position to Joe Jorgensen, who's running for president. Joe Jorgensen drops out of the Libertarian Party race to take the Department of Education because she's well qualified to do a better job than DeVos. Everybody, both sides agree.
Does anybody like DeVos?
But Jorgensen is not going to win. The most that she can hope for is taking votes away from Trump because it's critical thinking voters. She should drop the hell out and take the Department of Education position and make a name for herself by correcting a lot of this stuff. And if she ever wants to run for president, she should get something under her belt besides her name, because her life experience is not working for her. And there's a lot of people that really like what she has to say. So I think she should get some work experience under the Trump administration and drop out of the race so she doesn't take a bunch of his votes.
They got the Green Party candidate to drop out. The Dems did.
Well, that's my idea. I just had
Do
that
you
idea.
think that DeVos was do you think she was another one of them that was recommended to POTUS? Or do you think
I think that was part of the deal for his safety, because her brother is Eric Prince is providing a lot of extra safety. He's got the most secure team, trustworthy. These guys would have bled together. They've lost people together. He can trust his guys, and he's on Trump's side. So of course his sister has like top pick of whatever she wants to do. She's got no qualifications to be where she's at, and she's done nothing with it.
We need somebody in there that is gonna have a lot more vim and vigor. I mean, she's too milquetoast.
She needs to get the hell out of there, and I think my idea is pretty valid. I think Jorgensen should drop out.
I agree. I say we let POTUS know what you're thinking.
Call him.
Call him, Ben.
I tweeted him. I tweeted her at the same time.
Well, good. Well, if you reach him, tell him that he's going to get reelected on my birthday. And I need to hug him until his eyeballs pop out.
I don't think my 2,000 followers saw it.
Well, I'm
Are
sure.
you getting
some
shadow
way
banned?
God will get that.
I think I'm just not that intelligent.
Oh,
Come
right.
on, Twitter doesn't shadow ban. Come on. Twitter lets you say exactly what you want. They don't take your followers away and shut down hundreds of accounts in 24 hours. That doesn't sound like Twitter.
Well, I think I'm getting
Stop your
followers back.
lies, Benjamin.
Don't believe your blind eyes, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad when you see the list of all the patriots that have been banned. It's sad. It's almost like they died. I just go, oh
Yeah, but most of them have got backup accounts already because they're pretty smart, or they're literally reopening accounts literally within seconds. So it's not really working. I mean, especially with the Q accounts. I've seen I don't know how many Q accounts go down, and then within seconds they're back up on there again.
Well, I just invented a new website idea, a new social media platform idea today. I invented it, and I traced all the avenues so far. There's questions to be answered about it, but it's a damn good idea.
Well,
You're a damn genius.
Are you gonna
tell us about it, or
are you
Such
gonna
a
copyright it?
tease.
No, I got no problem talking about it, because I'm not an IT professional or anything. There's not a whole lot I can do to make it happen. But if you guys have ever worked on a car or truck or something, you know the Chilton manual doesn't help you a lot. So people turn to YouTube videos and forums. But if there was a website that would include forums with video and like live capabilities, you could go in with a specific question, find the category it applies to, and find somebody that's on there live. It might be like a 35-year professional that would be able to answer any question you have. And the categories would be endless because the community could develop new categories for new questions. So it would be like a cross between a forum and Facebook and a live, I don't know, with live capabilities. So with upvotes, you could earn your way to make a living at doing this. If everybody agrees that you're an expert in this field, then you'll have a really high rating, like a gold standard rating, and you could make a living at doing this. Like you'd go live, help people with their problems, and it could be live. And
have you talked to James at all? Have you talked? I mean, I don't know what James's thing is, but that Criado, is that the same sort of thing?
No, this is just something I was thinking about today because I had a question about DC voltage, and I don't know much about it, but I like to. I mean, this could be any category you could think of. You could talk about, quantum theory, and if a scientist wants to make a little side money being on here answering people's questions live, all of their schooling and all of their work history should be valuable. If they want to sit back and answer questions, they should make a living because they put in the time, they put in the work, they earned their spot in the world. They're an expert. So this would be
expertise has a value. I mean, it's the same reason you apprentice versus a journeyman, in those kind of positions. The expertise is paid the journeyman is paid more because of their valuable expertise.
Here's the catch. This would have to be, of course, people are afraid about how detailed the verification process needs to be. You can't be an owner of 2,000 bots and create yourself a sit-home job. That's impossible with this idea. You would have to verify. Every vote would have to be a real person. Just like our Well, it would have to be better than our voting system, because this is livelihoods that you're talking about. You can't just get a bunch of upvotes for nothing.
James put out some sort of thing today, Ben, on his Creato idea. So if you check out his timeline, he did a Periscope on it today. I know nothing about it, but he's talked about doing something similar, and I didn't understand what he just said. Something about if you get paid for contributing, and that's all I remember him talking about. And I wonder if it's the same sort of concept that you're talking about. I don't know, but he put something out today that kind of outlined what this Creato thing is. So look at his Periscope from earlier today, because he said it was yeah. I mean, check it out. It might and him, he is, I think, up for any kind of idea that would kind of augment what they're doing. So maybe you could help him kind of flesh that out a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he's got in store, but it sounds like it could be compatible.
I run through ideas really fast. Usually it's when I come up against like a roadblock of something in my life that I come up with a solution, and if I can't develop it myself, then I'll just mention it. And out there somewhere is somebody with the means and backing and everything. Because like in my position, if I have a good idea, there's something that doesn't exist that I would need, and I have it all the way from start to finish. I have it completed in my mind. The thing that's holding me back is all of the steps it takes to get there. Like, first of all, it takes 15 grand to get a patent attorney to sign you off, basically give you your credentials of your idea. Then it takes somebody to, be willing to make that idea based on your patent. And that costs a lot. That costs about the same amount of money. You got to R&D that shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
But
hey,
I'm
check
full of
his thing
ideas.
out, and if it sounds like it's the same thing, then his DMs are open.
Well, this is the third idea I've had this month, but this one, it's big because the more I think about it, the more avenues it would be a big program. This would be huge. Like, this would be very detailed, very technical. There's a lot of questions to be answered. It would be very complex, but it's nothing that can't be done. I mean, we have complex stuff that we use every day.
Right. Yeah.
This
Good
is a
idea.
change. This is a change in topic, but tell me why y'all think this is the case. I just checked my emails, which I do about once every 3 months, and apparently Apple has blocked the Fortnite app from their app store.
I
Y'all know
heard
anything about that?
I read an article about it. I can't remember what they said. They're having a fuss about it for some reason.
Huh.
Apple was
I know
MAGA.
they did.
Well, I guess Fortnite isn't MAGA. That's so weird. Like, why do they? Oh my gosh.
Did y'all know
I
that
don't
No
know.
Name McStain's wife spoke at the convention? I didn't know that.
Only thing I know about the convention is what y'all have told me, basically.
Said that her husband had a long, wonderful relationship with No Name. I'm going,
Wait, who said that?
disgusting. Cindy No Name.
Said that whose husband?
Said her husband, her dead one, No Name, had a long, very warm relationship with Joe Biden.
Oh, I bet they did. I bet they
Yeah, I
did.
bet they did too.
I bet they did.
You couldn't pay me enough to sniff McCain's hair.
Yeah.
Talking of Biden, did any of you catch what Rose McGowan was posting today?
I did. She
Oh,
went
yeah.
salty.
What'd
What's
she
her name?
say? I
Just blocked
missed it.
her.
Oh, did she?
So
Was
the
she
main
the one that
tweet that everyone was retweeting. So this is Rose McGowan, and she typed it out and then put it up as a photo because she couldn't fit it all in on the tweet. I was raped by a top Democratic donor. Hillary Clinton shut down NBC's expose of Harvey Weinstein with one call from her spokesperson. I strongly believe Joe Biden is a rapist. DNC had Bill Clinton, serial abuser of young women, open brackets, Epstein and others, close brackets, speak. You want me to be a pro-dem? I know more than you will ever know about their evil. You can hide behind your convenient morality. I won't. So basically just called out the Clintons and Joe Biden.
Oh my fuck. No, I did not see that. I saw her starting a fight with Alyssa Milano. This is much bigger than a cat fight.
Way to go.
I missed that last sentence of what. I'm sorry, I got distracted for a second. Read the last sentence of that. She strongly what?
I know more than you will ever know about the evil. You can hide behind your convenient morality. I won't.
Well, this is still reinforcing the duopoly, but hey, if we're going to choose sides.
No, they were going back and forth, and then Tara Reid, the girl that accused Biden, she's retweeting her. I mean, this is what Tara Reid put up yesterday. And don't ever forget, at Alicia Milano, Joe Biden sexually harassed and assaulted and ruined my life. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. You are complicit, Alicia Milano, an enabler of rape, and I will never let you forget how you tried to erase me. Now stop trolling, Rose.
Awesome. I think you remember when Q said that, like, you won't believe who it is. It's like who it was that started the Me Too movement, as far as who it was that first turned in Weinstein or what? Weinstein. Do y'all remember that? It was way towards the beginning of the Me Too stuff.
No.
And Q
I don't
is
remember that one.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look up. Q was saying, like, basically said it was going to be a surprise, like, till when we find out who was the one who kicked this all off. And I've been thinking that it was Rose McGowan. Okay, that's not true. I've been going back and forth between thinking it was either Rose McGowan or the chef dude's girlfriend. The dead chef that I liked. Oh my gosh, Anthony Bourdain.
Bourdain.
Because his girlfriend also was part of the ones that one of the ones that started it. But I'll look it up and see what I'm talking about. I don't know if I can. So, will you put that tweet in the in our room?
Yeah, one sec.
Interesting. Things are and then the chants before the palace today. That was the first.
The palace?
Yeah, they had. They were chanting. What was it? You can yell something about pedophile.
One sec. Let me just bring.
Are you talking about in London?
Outside Buckingham Palace.
Okay.
Let me just bring this
They
up.
were. I mean, there was a bunch of them too. It was pretty big.
Gosh,
they
I don't
were
know
out
how
there
to
chanting and
Well, it's
protesting.
about time. I mean, we kicked England's ass like a couple 100 years ago, and now we're right back to even worse than what we kicked their ass for. So
right, here we
it's
go.
about time those people start standing up.
Yeah.
So this is them.
Wow.
That was outside Buckingham
Free the
Palace.
press?
No, pedophiles.
Oh, pedophiles. Okay.
And there was a bunch of them. I mean, it was pretty big from what I saw. Hey, did y'all see? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, bud. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but you see what the biggest problem with the UK is, and it's the biggest thing that infuriates me, because we've got all these so-called patriots in the UK, but I don't actually understand the problem. The trouble with the UK is the establishment. The reason why the UK has been cut for God knows how long, right, is because of the establishment. Because the establishment put out, through the media. They put, they control everything. This is why we don't have our freedoms, because of the establishment. Destroy the establishment, and we'll be like you guys over there, because our establishment.
Please don't try to be like us guys over here. Be better than that, please. I'm embarrassed by what the world gets to see of what we are. That's not what we are. What the world sees of us is not what we are. That's what
Amen.
That's what the cities are, and they're a mess. Be better than that.
You're right. Yeah. We don't claim
no
them.
reason to laugh at us. We laugh at our own media. There's no reason for the world to be laughing at us, because that's not us. That's a small group of whatever makes it into the media, and the media is owned and controlled by who the hell knows.
Exactly.
We're better
I
than
wrote
that.
Austin and told them that we wanted them to secede. We were embarrassed by them.
If you want to know where the media goes back to, look up the Council of Foreign Relations. That's where the narrative of the media begun. What year was it? Was it like 1918 or something?
Right,
somewhere in the early 90s.
I'm beyond who owns them. I'm like, yeah, like the.
Oh yeah, that's just a little part of their club.
Rome, like it goes back to Rome, it goes back to England, it goes back to the Council of 300, it goes back to a lot of people, and it gets smaller and smaller the more research you do. When you find out the top of the pyramid is only like 12 people, enough already. Like the media is like one of the branches of one of the freaking tentacles of this octopus, and it's like, can't we just like ignore the entire brain of the whole operation? Just like get the hell out of our life. We see it all. We see all the legs. We see everything, and it's like it's still working. Nobody's watching this stuff and where it comes from. And all they need is 51%, because that makes you king. So if we're like such a minority of people that can actually see where this is coming from, it doesn't matter as long as you're below 51%. If you're enlightened, you're insane, according to the rest of the population.
It's true.
It's like, where did the word conspiracy theorist come from?
The CIA.
There you go.
And then Hillary Clinton made it a thing. Like, brought it into the public as a phrase that we all heard.
Well, I mean, that video I watched is 3 hours long. I think I've seen it 6 times. Dr. Coleman goes back at least 120 years talking about how this works. And nobody has the time for stuff like that. Nobody has time to understand what history is. Nobody has time to like question everything, because it's a very unsettling feeling when you start questioning all of your fundamentals.
Well,
everything
I question
that was taught
everything.
To you.
Trust me.
Yeah, but it's
no, but I
unsettling
mean,
for the
you're
normal
right. I
person.
mean, it's like you don't want. It's like I said earlier. You don't want to think that you've been fooled. Your mind has been bent your entire life, and it's like you don't want to feel like the idiot, like you've been just fooled into believing all this crap. You're supposed to be smarter than that, So it's tough to take sometimes, It's like, wow. I personally get angry because it's like, how could they do that to us? How twisted are they? It's so upsetting, to think that we're just chattel, we're just chattel.
Well, I'm gonna make a point that's going to raise some eyebrows. That's one of my favorite conspiracy theorist type of people to talk to is a flat earth type of person. Because once you break down all of the fundamentals of things that people should know and agree on, there's nothing you won't question. So if you can just disregard something that you don't feel like talking about, talk about another issue that's current with somebody like a flat earther, and the critical thought that goes into like what's going on in the media right now might be something you've never heard before, but might make sense.
Right.
Okay. So how do you do that? I mean, how do you engage with, what's your first, how do you introduce that? What do you say?
Well, the first thing that I would say is that if there's a bridge that you're not willing to cross, don't entertain it. Sidestep it. Talk about something different than something you're unwilling to talk about.
Okay. Now I have to put that in my head, how I would do that, or what topic that would be. Because I'd talk about anything. I really would. Only because I like to learn. I mean, it's like I might think it's bullshit, but and my mind is open on everything. Like, for instance, cloning to me is just so far out there. It just is a concept to me that I just can't imagine how that would work. I mean, you hear this all the time that, oh, that's a clone. That person's a clone.
So is a
and you're like,
pedophilia ring that has control over the entire earth.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. And that's the thing. It's like it's
unconscionable.
That's right. You're absolutely right. It's just beyond my imagination. I could not even fathom something like that. So for me, I don't ever dismiss any idea, because it could. I'm looking at this stuff going, man, it could happen. It could be true. But for me personally, it's like I can't fathom it. I just can't imagine, being a pedophile or, being able to create a clone. Do I say that it can happen? No, I can't. I mean, obviously the pedophilia stuff is true. The cloning, so therefore, cloning is a definite possibility. But for me personally, it's like, what?
Actually, many years ago, they talked about, let me see if I can remember correctly, because I've only seen it a few times. They actually grew an ear on the back of a mouse. So why couldn't you clone, right? This was I can't exactly remember what the heck it was for, but I definitely remember a mouse with an ear on his back.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that happening.
Beyond that. They're far beyond.
I mean,
That's the thing,
they're way far beyond that.
They cloned Dolly the sheep 30 years ago.
That guy had his own penis growing on his arm.
Yep.
You guys remember that story?
His own penis?
They grew a penis for him on his own arm. I mean, you'd think wearing a tank top would be indecent exposure if that's
what was it, Dick Army?
Dick Army. That was nice, Russ. Well done.
Well, and I read an article about some really gruesome cloning things that they're doing in China. So, I believe that anything we know publicly, that's available publicly, we're probably 20 or 30 years ahead of that privately.
Yeah.
On all of our technology.
That's the thing. And that's where it's like, for me, mind blowing, because it's like, okay, you can't dismiss any of it. You can't.
You can't. Even the extraterrestrials and things like that. When I first started contemplating it, I, out of turn, kind of just dismissed it. And with all of the things that are coming out about UFOs and what the government knows, and of course we've known about Area 51. We don't know the truth of it, but we know that there's something amiss. We know other things. So, now that is really not out of the realm of possibility. The issue is really, what can you say definitively is out of the realm I mean, there's just nothing. Everything we've
Right.
ever known to be true we now know is a lie. So how do you justify ever drawing a line saying it's an impossibility? That's the issue.
Well, okay, so here's a metaphor. If you go to a movie, if you take your family to go watch a movie, which is something of the past now. If you go to the movie theater and watch a movie, you pay for all of the admissions for you and your spouse and your kids. You watch this movie, you believe it all the way through, and then you find out it's fiction. And you go back to the cashier and say, hey, we believe this. This isn't fair because we paid all this money to hear a fake story. That's your lawsuit right there. It's not a lawsuit against our own country. Like, you can't win because it was authored. Everything that you know has been authored. What are you going to do? Sue somebody that's already dead?
Yeah.
How would that
So you
work?
I
watch
don't
the
know.
movie,
Maybe
and if you learn later on that it's fake, you learned. You learned. If you learn later on that the movie that you believed was a true story isn't true, then you move on. You already paid for it. Like, you didn't have the only difference is you didn't have a choice before, because we've already paid for all of our educations. Our parents have paid for it. We're paying for it now. It's happening now. Everybody's watching a movie that's authored. Sorry. Black
Mind
pill.
blowing.
I know. I was just sitting there contemplating. It's an awfully deep.
All right. Good to talk to you guys. I got to go.
We're so glad you came. Drop a bomb and walk off.
Yeah.
Leave us all in
You're
the
like,
dust.
yeah, no kidding.
We're all
No
trying to wrap
kidding,
our
Ben.
brains around the enormity of the subject.
I want to shut up for a while, and I just want to listen to you guys. So I'm out of here. It was good to talk to you guys.
Love
Have a
you,
good
Dom.
Good night, dear leader.
Good night.
See you later, Ben.
Good night, little snickerdoodle.
Good night.
Ben's like what's the name of the, what do they call her? The press secretary? Secretary Terminator or
Haley.
something?
K-Mac. K-Mac. She's a bomb
McEnany.
dropper.
McEnany. Yeah, McEnany.
Uh-huh.
But what do they call
K-
her? What's her nickname?
K-Mac is what I'd heard. The Terminator.
Okay. That was Ben just then. Drop a bomb, take off.
Yeah, he did. And we're all sitting there like the mainstream
So
media.
you're like
with
going,
their mouths open.
Ben, you bad boy.
Well, I know. It is. I mean, that's just what the last 3 years has been, is one, bomb after another, just one thing after another. You find out that you didn't know the truth of it, or you didn't know the enormity of it, or you didn't know the breadth and depth of it. I mean, it's just been a series of,
Well,
pardon the
I
expression,
always
but
knew
mind fucks.
government. I always knew government was corrupt. I mean, you just know it. You just kind of
Yeah.
intuitively know there's some bad stuff going on. But I had
Not to this level.
no idea. No idea.
But what it's
And
doing
the
is
Satanism.
it's strengthening.
I'm
It's
sorry.
strengthening our minds for what's going to happen. Well,
Yeah.
I think predominantly the last 4 years has. I don't know you guys. I mean, I've listened to Exchange for like 20 years, and before that, as a kid, I watched X-Files. So I've kind of always questioned things and believed the unbelievable. But certainly the last 4 years, as you say, there's been so much in terms of truth bombs and things like that. I think it's prepared the mind for what, particularly for this year alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Neil, I definitely agree with you on that. I mean, when this first came out, I'm well prepared from what I'm hearing now. It's just like, okay, I believe it. You're okay. It's not like, oh my God. It's like, okay, I'm there. I can handle
I'm
it.
not sure. I'm not sure we are there though. I'm not sure we even understand the depth of the depravity.
We don't. But we have the capacity to know that it's there. Whereas before we didn't. And if it took us 3.5 years or 4 years to get to this point, then think about how shocking it's going to be for the normies when a lot of this it does come to light so quickly. It's going to be.
It's happening now. It's happening now.
Life,
I got people on what I call normie book now messaging me going, what Neil, I'm starting to see this stuff happening, Ghislaine Maxwell, tell me about Ghislaine Maxwell, what's been going on here? Because now I'm putting 2 and 2 together with the royal family and Ghislaine Maxwell and Jimmy Savile, what's going on here? I've even got people at work coming up to me going, tell me about Ghislaine Maxwell. So it's happening right now. The people that have been asleep for so long are suddenly waking up and coming to us and saying, what's going on here? I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. I don't know what's going on here. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had a friend the other day that's a royalist, and she was messaging me saying, look, tell me the truth, Neil. What's going on here? I've been a royalist all my life, but I've seen the stuff with Prince Andrew, there's the Jimmy Savile stuff, and then I'm seeing things about the royal family. What can you tell me the truth? What's going on here? And this, I think, the Great Awakening's happening right before our eyes.
Well, I will give you a related example in another field. My sister, I was telling the story last night on Q-Tips. My sister and brother-in-law, my brother-in-law is a veteran, and they're very pro-Second Amendment, very conservative people. And when all of this was going on about the red flags and all of that kind of thing, and the debate about bunt stocks and all that kind of thing. And then the Dems were trying to do something with the AR-15s or something. And there was a big debate about that. And Cindy and Ken really surprised me because they both said no, that they did not think that we needed to have AR-15s. And that really surprised me. And I was going, what would make you feel that way? And they just said, that's just such a powerful weapon that they didn't think that a civilian would ever need it. And this, about a week or so ago, my sister and I were talking one day, and she said, well, there's been an advertiser here in Dallas that this one place still has AR-15s. And she says, well, I think that we ought to go one day and both of us get one. And I just sat there with my mouth open going, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Did I really hear that out of your mouth, Cindy Barr? And I turned to her and I said, well, that's quite a change. What brought that about? And she said, well, think about it. You see what's going on in Portland, with them going through the neighborhood. She told you to think about it. Uh-huh. And I'm sitting there going, really? You don't say. Really?
She's like, well, Denise, why don't you just open your eyes and look at the world around you, honey?
I know. And another thing is, used to when I would tell her about Q, she would kind of look at me like, Now, everything I say, this is a woman who claims that she can only listen to Rush. She just can't listen to all that politics. That it just drives her crazy. That she knows almost everything I know. Everything I've read, she's read. And now, when I talk about Q, she'll say, well, and she'll give a supporting fact. It won't be Q-based, but it will be a supporting fact about what Q's talking about. And I'm going, you don't watch politics much. I'm the crazy one. I'm the one that is such an avid political junkie that I've become aggressive in my thinking, that we need. And I'm with, somebody made the point, it might have been Coffee Talk with Sandra, I can't remember who it was, made the point that, when you look at the reason why they allowed us to arm ourselves, it was so that we would always have the capability to defend ourselves against our own government. And there is an argument to be made, I do believe, for always having equal force available to you that the government would be able to have. Or else we don't have the ability to defend ourselves against a rogue government.
Well, I'm right there with you because I have somebody I talk to every now and then, and he goes, well, what's new in the news? What's going on? Because he has no idea. He doesn't have a computer or anything like that. He just has his TV. And periodically, we'll talk current events and politics, and he gives me that shocked look every time because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
But I'd like to ask the ladies, what do you think about the pardon for Susan B?
I think it was stupid. It made me mad.
Really?
Yes.
I liked it.
No, because it wasn't Julian
with
Assange. If you're going to make a big deal, I'm going to pardon somebody soon, then I want it to be a Julian Assange or someone who's at least fucking alive and can get some benefit out of it. I was so mad about that. I'm not kidding. In case you can't tell.
Well, I think he did it as a way to troll the left. Because it put them in a box.
But trolling
was a box.
Yeah, of course it was a troll, but it was like.
I think Assange is coming. Just wait. Because
how broken does his psyche have to be before this happens?
Oh,
though?
I know.
Like, I'm really tired.
How long does his little boys have to do without their daddy?
Right. I'm really tired of this Assange thing not happening.
But he's coming. He's coming to testify.
I don't.
Okay, so do you know there's 2 cases going on that means that he's going to be coming over? Do you know about the 2 cases?
No, I think that Doc just tried to allude to that, and I sound like a smartass when I said no, I don't. It's because I actually don't. I didn't mean to.
I took you at your face.
I'm very offensive. Defensive.
Lay it on us.
So you've got 2 cases going on. The other one I only discovered today after digging into, I did a search for Vault 7 and I come across this article that I haven't even seen anything about in anywhere. So case number 1 is Seth Rich's parents obviously tried to sue Fox News for saying that Seth Rich was the guy that leaked to WikiLeaks. Mm-hmm. So Fox lost. No, who was it? So Fox lost, I think, or they lost, and they appealed the case. So that appeal is happening right now. There's a judge in New York that has part of the case has asked for the extradition of Assange to come over to the USA to give evidence on this case. She's actually been in contact with the English Royal Courts of Justice, and from what I've read in several articles, the Royal Courts of Justice have agreed to allow this to happen out of good conduct between the US and the UK. But then there's another article that I've come across. Apparently, there's an ex-CIA guy that was supposedly accused of leaking stuff to WikiLeaks about the CIA, particularly with the Vault 7, because obviously Vault 7 is all about the hacking into the CIA, what the CIA does to hack into things. Mm-hmm. So apparently, and again, coincidence, this is all New York. Remember what happened recently? Prosecutor outed, prosecutor in, right? So there's another case going on in New York now with this guy. Apparently, there's a judge in New York that this case has come up again, that they basically, between the lawyers of the CIA guy that is accused of this and Assange's lawyers, there's a case been called up in New York where the both of them need to appear with regards to who leaked to WikiLeaks about the CIA hacking stuff, i.e. Vault 7. And this is an actual case going on. I'll get the guy's name. Give me 2 secs.
They covered that on Patriot Soapbox on, I'm trying to think of which show on Patriot Soapbox. I heard them talking about it. Let me think. It may have been, no, maybe it was Good Dog. It was either Patriot Soapbox or Good Dog did a show on that. And that's the only reason I'd heard about that one.
Okay, so Assange is supposed to come here to testify about these things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
so-
looking likely that he may get to because, which I think while he's over here, I think with all this other stuff popping on the other things that that he's been involved in, I think that he'll be dropping bomb after bomb after bomb. I think they're going to use him while he's over here and get all of his testimony. And
Well, I was thinking about
you
this.
know how good POTUS is. I think if he does come out, I think there's a very good chance that if nothing else, he'd be pardoned.
So if he comes, okay, how can he come and his safety be assured without a pardon? How can that happen? Because I don't want the United States government to get a hold of him because I don't trust our government.
No, I think our government wants him dead.
Yeah, no, he needs to. I mean, I don't know where he needs to be, but it doesn't need to be with us.
Well,
I
if I'm
think
not
whoever's
mistaken, didn't Q allude that he's safe and that he will be coming over and testifying at some point?
I was believing all
And
that stuff at some point. I mean, for a long time, I believed all of that, and I quit believing it.
Well,
But I believe. Sorry, go on.
no, I was just gonna say that's what I got out of the Q drops. Go ahead, Neil.
And I'm not saying I quit believing the Q stuff. I'm saying that I've given up hope on believing that all this stuff. I don't know how much of what I used to think about what was going on with Assange. I don't know how much of that was stuff that Q actually said, and how much of it was stuff that Q researchers deduced. And I can't remember what was what. And so I just sort of like
go back and read the drops. They'll help with this.
Well, which drops? There's I mean,
well, if you go on QMAP.pub, you can research Assange.
I know, and I've been spending the last 30 minutes trying to find out the Q drop I was talking about earlier. So I've been so quiet. It's just there's so much to
go through.
Yeah, I mean, right now I just
know.
typed in Assange. Oh, there's only 18 drops about him, so that shouldn't be as hard as I was thinking. I can do that.
I didn't know. I didn't mean to cut you off, Neil. What were you saying, Doll?
So I've just typed Assange in Q drops. So the first one that pops up is Julian Assange is under protection. He is the key to the DNC data leak and Seth Rich murder.
Where? Tell me which. Are you at the top one as far as the most recent one, or where are you?
The most recent one, yeah. So the one I'm looking at is 3341.
Okay. It's not nearly as many as I thought it was going to be. It's only 18.
So it actually says on there, under protection, threat is real, key to DNC, source hack 187.
And that's Seth Rich, the 187.
Yeah, I mean, there's several other ones. I mean, that's just the first one that popped up, and obviously, you guys were talking about protecting Assange. I believe whoever protects Trump is probably going to be protecting Assange when he comes over. And again, what you said there, Kimmy, like you kind of given up that anything was happening with Assange. Pretty much the same way by myself. But I think what we're realizing now is everything's about timing. Because if we see what's going on with Durham right now, what did he spoke with Brennan yesterday. So much is happening with what we believed would happen right now. Assange. It's no coincidence that Ghislaine Maxwell, New York, they've just announced today the Jeffrey Epstein investigation is still going on. There's still a grand jury for that in New York. And New York, there's 2 cases in New York that's asking for Assange to come over. Everything seems to be based around New York. It's all eyes on New York. What happened recently? Trump removed the Democrat prosecutor that was sitting on everything, and all of a sudden, Pandora's box has just gone boom.
Remember what else is in New York, Neil? Wiener laptop and Clinton Foundation, and I want to say, is Benghazi out of New York? No. Was it? No.
I don't think so.
There was something else big. Because Q named off like 3 or 4 things that was just by that replacement was going to unlock.
Well,
and I do know Wiener's laptop was one of them.
Well, the reason Vault 7 sticks out because I remember Pompeo's reaction. He was pissed.
Yeah, Pompeo, and I don't think Barr is really happy with the whole thing either. I think Pompeo was against Assange, and I'm not sure that Barr is real happy with him either. So you got some powerful people that are against Assange, and I'm hearing that they're delaying everything. That the DOJ is the ones that are just creating havoc for the whole thing. So I don't know.
But if he also, oh sorry,
no, go on, mate. Go on.
But if he does have any information, Assange, about Seth Rich, I'm sure he will give that out.
Yeah, if he ever gets over here.
Right.
The other thing is, if remember, we're watching the movie, and timing's everything. And if they were to be playing a part, and their reluctance to accept it would encourage other people to not see it as political, and or also remember, DOJ is Ray, and we know that Q posted Ray's picture and then posted it again with the big X through it. Could they be operating off misinformation, or which his leaving could correct, or could his testimony correct their impression once he does finally get here? But it indicates that it's going to happen somehow.
Well,
and I hadn't seen Q be wrong about too many things yet.
Well, the couple of congressmen I've heard says Ray is in deep shit. Because they are very
I would
mad.
not want Q to post my picture with the big X on it. If so,
are you kidding me?
Y'all hide me, please. Somebody take me in. Let me run.
Oh my gosh, I don't want Q to post anything about me, even negative or positive. Because for one thing, if it's negative, then oh shit. And then number two, if it's positive, then now you suddenly have millions of people trying to find you and say bad things about you or whatever. I want to stay right under the radar. All these people that get retweeted by Q, or not over retweeted, but posted. I'm always like, at first, at the beginning of it, like I knew some people that got like their 4chan posts and stuff that Q would respond to. And I was like, oh my gosh, yay for you or whatever. But then now as it's gotten bigger and bigger, now you're a target. I don't want that. And what's his name? There's this recent dude, educating liberals. I saw recently that he's been, I know he
went off the deep end.
He's been reposted by Q and now.
Bit of a shill apparently. He spent 4 years taking money off of Patriots on his Patreon. Turned around and went out. And now Trump. I think Trump's a Satanist. I think this guy's a bit of a shill, to be honest. Spending 4 years taking money off of people.
I don't know. I watched his video and there were parts of it that made sense and parts of it that I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. But anyway, I don't really know where I was.
Such an extreme flip tells me right there that there's an issue.
Yeah, something happened, but I just think it's
not right.
I'm just saying, like to have such a high to be like brought out into the spotlight like that, and then change your mind or whatever. Anyway, I don't want to be a high profile anything ever.
Yeah,
right.
So when you said for Q to post your name with an X on it, I was like, I don't want Q posting my name in any respect. And then that made me think of educating liberals.
Post me even in a positive way.
Yeah,
I would have been too goofy to realize that all the trolls were going to come after me. I'd be like, "What? What?" As you wear a red shirt, all the bulls are running at you. You're going, "Oh,
yeah." I don't want to play dodgeball on Twitter.
Yeah. Hey Phil,
that would have never occurred to me.
Hey Phil.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Seriously.
I don't know anything about the Q thing, and I really don't care about it, to be honest with you. Never have. I've always maintained the same stance on it. I look at it.
Neutrality.
I don't follow it. I really don't care about it, to be honest with you. And Doc can
No, but
tell you
what about,
I've
like-
always followed that same thing about it. I'll look at it,
Yeah,
but that's about it.
but what
Well-
about like all the other like the topics of like Assange and all that stuff? Does that like interest you at all?
Assange, he's in some trouble for working with Chelsea Manning. That he's I don't know how he's going to overcome that part.
No, he's just been accused of it. He's been accused of like helping her hack stuff.
Yeah.
Is there any reason to believe that that's true?
You don't know. We don't know yet.
Yeah. I mean, if he
obviously they got something on him to get him over here. Maybe they'll just use that and say, give us the other stuff. You know what I mean?
Well,
right.
And use it as leverage to get him to squeal on the other things. Like Seth Rich, maybe.
Well, I tell you, I've always been on the fence about Q, but I'm leaning more towards it because of number one, people are the way people are just treating it. They're trying to delegitimize it. There's your sign a little bit right there. Trump has now talked about it. People are they're going after 4chan. So I am more thinking this is more legitimate than what I thought it could be. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing.
That's what I think. They're freaking out for some reason.
If it's just a conspiracy theory or it doesn't hold water or it's a psyop, why is the mainstream media in such a panic about it? Why do they keep trying to connect it to old false flags and things like that? Obviously there probably was another form of Q or like information dropping, whatever it may have been before 2017, but to try and directly keep continuously connecting Q to the shooting in Comet Pizza is just plain ridiculous.
My God, there's
over 2,000 hit pieces on QAnon. 2,000.
It's a lot of effort for something that doesn't matter.
They're still trying to go after cosmic ping pong after all these years.
Oh, they're still linking it to the whole thing. I mean, and Comet Ping Pong, if you didn't know, I mean, the guy that shot happened to hit the computer that contained all the contact information. How crazy is that?
Mm-hmm.
Pizzagate and Q stuff are separate things.
They're
related.
separate.
They're related because some of the same issues and people are involved in the stuff, but they are separate. But it is true that like me, I did a lot of Pizzagate research and figuring out, and I do believe it, and I am also someone who was drawn and attracted to the Q stuff. So one could easily say that it's the same people in that respect, just because we believe, like most of the Q people do believe the Pizzagate stuff, but there's no connection to it whatsoever. As far as like Neil said, the Pizzagate stuff
was prior
way
to
before Q.
Yeah.
I mean, it was before the election. That started with the Podesta emails.
Right.
Yeah.
Emails, yeah.
And I sat and watched that whole damn video of Paselvik's.
Video?
Oh, didn't you see the scope he did? He went into cosmic ping pong.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just didn't know which video you were talking about. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, yeah.
Well, guys, I'm gonna call it a night because it's just coming up to 10:05 in the morning here. So I'm gonna hit the hay, I think.
I don't blame you.
Been an awesome show, and thanks to Phil, Denise, and the rest of you guys for having me on. Been awesome as usual.
As usual,
we
Neil.
enjoyed it.
You have a good night's sleep.
Good night.
Good night, Neil.
No worries. Cool. All right, then. Have a great night, everybody. Speak to you soon.
Good night,
All right.
sugar. We were so glad you were back, honey.
Yeah, it's
No
good to
worries.
see you, Phil. Or Neil, good to see you.
All right, have a good night, everybody. Bye bye.
All right, bye-bye. Another box fucker. We got a Mike fucker and a box fucker.
I was thinking about fucking a box too.
I'm thinking about it myself.
R.M. Johns makes a good point. They're constantly talking about it. Now people are looking at it. So that's the converse argument. You could say, are they talking about it on purpose? Maybe I've been listening to much Boogie
yes,
Bumper.
they are.
If they are, they're stupid because it calls them out and says that half of them are CIA plants and have sold out. So,
well, no, I'm
I mean,
half of them like biting their nose off spot their face.
I mean, they want to call it out. Like I said earlier, and I don't know whether we did this in the actual scope or before the show, but we were talking about it, and you know what they want to do. That lady called, asked President Trump about it, and she set the whole thing up. She planted the whole thing, and so that all those there's going to be something that's going to happen where they're going to blame it on Q people.
They're trying to tie Trump to it and then have a false flag.
Yeah, it's going to
blame
happen.
it on Trump. Just like those rallies that they were saying were Q rallies that were not, because you know that you've never seen a number one, a Q rally, and number two, any rally that Trump supporters have done without flags and Trump hats. And there wasn't a one of them in that group that they have the video all over the social media about, claiming to be Q group. And
to save the children and against pedophiles and
I mean, some of the thing is that what they do is they take the truth and then they take it as far like to the crazy side, because a good bit of what they say about us is true. Like, we do want to save the children, and we do think that there is a pedophilia problem in DC and Hollywood
and Satanism and all that.
And Satanism, yes, we do believe
and
these
the
things.
Current facts support those arguments.
Yes, but they reduce it down to where that's all that it is, and it's been debunked. Like, these are crazy people who believe this crazy outlandish thing that has been debunked, and it is outlandish, y'all. The only reason I ever looked into pizza is crazy. Like, to think something like that and not have evidence to believe it. You're crazy to just think it, like where do you get that idea from, right? But when you follow this stuff, it is fucking true. Yeah, and I believe it with everything I have inside of me. I'm not saying I believe every single aspect of all of this, but that Pizzagate stuff, I am absolutely like the concept of it. But the thing is the reason I believe it is because it sounded so ridiculous that I had to look into it. Because when I saw it, I was like, okay, I believe there are pedophiles, and if I believe there are pedophiles, I mean, I have to believe that somebody in the government is also a pedophile. I mean, statistically speaking, we have pedophiles in every aspect of our world, right? So clearly, we have pedophiles in the government, but that doesn't mean Hillary Clinton is one, or John Podesta is one, or this particular person is one, or whoever, whatever. And the more I dug into it, the more, I mean, but that's how you have to do it, is you have to.
Well, even when you dig into it, it's so unfathomable. You can't. You cannot.
It really can't be true.
There's people who do the adrenochrome. I mean, I'm sitting here going, it's so unbelievable. It's so,
But if you saw, what's it called? It's.
I'm not saying that I don't believe it. I'm just saying it is unfathomable. You could not create this in your own head. This is not something. It's so depraved.
If somebody just walked up to you and told you about it, you would look at them like they were crazy.
I mean,
absolutely. And that's one thing that we do that we should stop doing, we collectively, that we should stop doing, is stop telling people that Hollywood elites take adrenochrome. That's why they stay so young.
Right.
Because that makes no fucking sense.
It is crazy. It's a crazy idea.
It's crazy. And so you have to do things like talk to them about hydroxychloroquine. Don't talk to them about Hollywood pedophiles raping children.
Yes,
exactly.
However, there was a big article here in Dallas, because they had a place here where you could go get a infusion from the blood platelets and stuff taken from younger people. And it was
Yes.
being advertised here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they call it a vampire facial.
And that was when I saw another article. I think it was Morning News. Somebody around here that said, this may be a form of what the adrenochrome that this Q far right conspiracy theorist group has been advocating that Hollywood takes and blah blah blah.
That's what
Just
got
an enhanced form of it.
That's what got Q people kicked off of Twitter, because all the blue check marks from Hollywood went to Jack and bitched.
Yeah, because they don't want to be found
off.
out about what happened.
Because there were people daily harassing Chrissy Teigen, Tom Hanks, and they have millions of followers, and Twitter's a business too, and advertisers, and if they threaten to pull their accounts out, what's Jack gonna do? You got 200,000 followers and you're harassing Chrissy Teigen every day? Bye, you're gone. I'll keep her and kick you to the curb.
What I was going to say a minute ago was the
Twitter.
movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Hunter S. Thompson. That's based on a true story, as true as you can be when you're talking about someone's hallucinogenic experiences. But they talked about adrenochrome in that movie. Johnny Depp. So anyway, yeah. I mean, that's a movie.
They
from
openly admit to everything that they do in the movies.
From 1998.
Look at Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, it's like
Eyes Wide Shut.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So these are things that we already. Well, I mean, if you didn't see Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and I think I can't remember what the other movie is. Anyway, other things they've actually, and they called it adrenochrome, and the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas movie, and they took it and. You got to see their hallucinations and all the things that happened, and got to hear about how it made them feel, and it was supposed to help them feel young. And I can't remember what all it was that was said about it, but.
And when you research what they are required to do to be part of this club, is to admit openly what they're doing, and just because of the ludicrousness of it. Knowing that the public is not going to accept it as truth. They wear the, Q says that symbolism is going to be their downfall. Well, part of the rules is that they are required to be open about what their beliefs are. I mean, to come out. And when you find that out, when you start researching, you find it out, and then you look at the thousands and thousands and thousands of examples that are available on the internet.
Did you see the thing recently?
Hard to deny.
Did you see the Democratic National Convention thing, or it looked like Death to America?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. You point that out and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Again, unfathomable.
And remember, this is the party that doesn't believe in God.
Yeah.
Another thing is about adrenochrome is you can order that.
Yeah.
Off the internet. You can order it and it will tell you what it is.
Yep.
Oh boy.
There's an iPod.
I'm sorry, go ahead, babe.
I'm sorry. It's an iPod video where he talks about it from, I think, like March or April or May or something. I'll find it and put it in the chat.
I like him.
I know he's so freaking adorable. He's my boo.
That music just makes you want to dance. The opening music,
it makes you
want to dance no matter what. Even if you're in a bad mood, you hear that music, you can't be in a bad mood long.
But if you didn't hear it, there was a senator who was saying the Pledge of Allegiance or something.
He was saying what?
He deliberately left out under God. He was saying the Pledge of Allegiance or something, like speaking it, and he deliberately did not say under God.
There were two caucuses that did that when they did their, there was I think it was the gay and lesbian caucus, and then there was another caucus, and they had the Pledge of Allegiance and they omitted under God. Yeah.
Well, and then a couple of, well, whenever that was, they I can't talk. They voted to take. What did they vote for at the Democratic National Convention? I want to say it was in 2012 to take God out of their platform or something. Do y'all remember what that was?
Right. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
they did. They did. And remember, at their last convention, they didn't have any flags there until there was a big hoorah made about it, and they hurriedly went and bought a bunch of them or got them from somewhere and brought them in. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
But getting back to the Q thing for a second, when all these pictures started coming out and you started seeing everybody has the same thing, like the keys.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, oh wow, it's a fad thing, or okay, this one person has it. Several had it. They have some sort of symbol of a key, like the old time lock.
Yep.
The black eyes, remember?
Mm-hmm. And there's several stars and
So it's the
politicians
left
with
black eye.
that. Harry Reid.
Politicians, movie stars, big business owners. Why is it always their left eye?
I just put links to those two iPod videos in the chat for everybody.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
There's pictures of Chelsea Clinton wearing an upside down cross.
Yeah.
You can Google it. I mean, it's out there if you want to research it. It's just, you know, and I don't think everybody has to believe in Q. It's okay if you don't read here or you don't just follow it. You know, it's like somebody was saying the other day. I've seen patriots that are not Q followers, but I've never seen a Q follower that's not a patriot. So we're all on the same team. You know what I mean?
That's one thing I was gonna say when Neil was talking. I couldn't remember what I was gonna say. That's exactly what it was that people who believe in, you know, free speech and all that stuff, and they get all pissy about people who follow Q, like we're not, like it's not okay to believe in Q. Like, why not?
Exactly.
I actually
give me a good reason not to, and I won't.
I actually defended Q people at one time on a chat room because people were trashing them, calling them Q-tards and everything. You guys probably remember.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Yep. And I was threatened.
And you were beset upon.
And I was threatened.
Yeah, and I hope that you never want to become a part of that platform that's never going to exist now, because if you ever do want to be big and famous on that platform, then you're out of luck, dude.
Oh well, I don't give
Looks
a
like
shit.
you outlasted that platform.
I will not abandon my principles for some shekels. Sorry. Some people do. Some people have, though, and it's quite frankly disgusting. But oh well, it is what it is.
Well, you know,
I mean,
the thing is,
the Q
for
thing.
Me, I just don't want to be hypocritical and ever practice what I preach against, and that's censorship of your First Amendment right. Number one, number two, that we don't, you know, the power of our platform is that we don't all have to believe alike, that our tent is big enough for us to all, as long as we have the core principles of MAGA, then I think our tent is big enough to encompass a lot of different kinds of different believing people. That is the beauty rather than the detriment of our party.
No,
well, it should
that
be.
We welcome.
No,
I think we need to claim it and celebrate it more, though.
I think Doc can attest to the fact that I've remained consistent the entire time she's known me, right?
Yes, baby, you have.
Yeah, honestly, I thought that you were a
I
Q
will say
person
that.
by how well you defended them, because the only people that was defending Q people were Q people.
Yeah,
Back in
And
those
that was
days.
the only time I ever thought
I
for a
did.
moment that I might have given you the wrong term of endearment when I say that you're a ne'er-do-well Yankee. But I rejected it out of hand. Thank you.
I'd like to say I did.
You did.
Yeah.
I defended whether you believe it or not. Everybody has a right to believe what they believe, and that's okay.
You did. I do remember that now that you mentioned it. Phil and I just had he and I just were part of the same long conversation on a certain day when I finally, hey, we're not talking about that shit.
Yeah.
But yes, you did. I remember that.
But
I remember that.
The irony is funny. I just in recent days. That's all. That's all I'll say. I won't say anything.
I don't know anything about recent days.
Yeah.
But a lot's going to have to happen for that certain person to not allow you on his platform. Lots of changes going to have to take place. Oh, that's right. We're live.
Yeah. I didn't see anybody's
you
name.
guys, I'm fading fast.
You don't look like you're fading. You look wide awake.
Yeah.
And spunky AF.
Yeah, see, your eyes are wide open.
Yeah, look at. Actually, that poor little old lady is dead. I ripped off a bunch of her photos.
You need to put up the male version of Hagatha.
Oh my gosh.
Not because you're a male, but just because of
it's a much better looking thing than the ugly Hagatha, isn't it?
I'm saying.
Did you see that, Kimmy? Did you see the male version of Hagatha? The real Hagatha?
Well,
the real
I don't know
Hagatha
you're talking
without makeup.
You're talking about IRL Hagatha or the fake in real life Hagatha that you posted? I don't know what you're talking about.
The Hagatha that Bill has tortured us with for months.
Yes.
The actual Hagatha. No,
the actual guy, the guy without makeup and like zits painted all over his face.
Please don't tell me he's handsome.
He's better looking than Hagatha.
He's better looking than Hagatha. Wouldn't take much, but I mean, relative.
See, I watch a lot of those shows like JJ Stoner and Revenge of the Sis. I watch a lot of different shows, not just 3 or 4. I watch I don't know. I listen to, I should say, because I'm working about I don't know, probably 15 different shows a day. But they're all the way from JJ Stoner, where I got Hagatha, to Mersh at night. So from Nightwave. So Hagatha, Sisty. Oh wait, I was gonna show you, Kimmy. You didn't see Hagatha, the real Hagatha?
I don't know if we can still be friends if you show me Hagatha.
No, there's this is all a troll. He admitted it.
Oh yeah.
The guy who does Hagatha, does it to troll people, right?
Oh, I didn't.
That's what he said, right?
What? No, I don't keep up to date on Hagatha.
Oh, he got rid of the picture. He got rid of the video.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
it's gone.
I think he said he was going to that night, didn't he?
Yeah.
On the video?
I didn't
download it. It was only going to be up for a short time.
I didn't download that one either, but it was Hagatha's real face.
Oh.
And he admitted he does it to troll people, and people actually fall
Did people
it.
think that was a real person?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, there's a lot of people that send him like funny stuff because they know he's trolling. I mean, what was the one thing about butt pads or anal pads or something that somebody sent him, and it was.
So people actually thought that was real.
Yeah, I think so. I think some people were trolling Hagatha.
Oh, they don't realize it's a parody thing?
Yeah. It is. It's just a parody. That's all. He's doing a parody. This isn't how he really dresses or anything.
Yeah, like Tatiana McGrath.
But you know what's sad to say? there is probably some people out there that would be like that. It's sad to say. Who knows? There's some
Yeah, that's
pretty
probably
weird
true.
things out there. That has some pretty strange.
It is
feathers.
possible.
Just, uh,
Sorry,
anyway,
I'm getting a drink.
we think you look better than her.
Oh,
All
well.
right, you guys, I'm gonna hit it.
Hit
Good
it
night,
before you-
y'all.
Yep.
Hit it and quit it.
Have a good night.
Hit it and quit it. All right, we'll see you guys. Have a great Sunday. Since we're there.
Yeah, it's Sunday
Since we're
now.
there.
You take Grandma.
All right.
Good night, Grandma.
Love
Good
y'all.
night.
Take
Love
it
you
easy.
too.
Take
You
it
too,
slow.
honey.
Tell them Grandma told you so. Good night.
Good night, honey. Love you, darling.
All right. Are you guys ready to hit it and quit it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
Probably so.
Oh no, me, I'll be still up at 3 o'clock like I do every night when I say I'm not gonna.
If I let myself, I could get a second win, but I just have to try to make myself go, keep on my schedule as much as I can, because it doesn't matter what time I go to bed, I get up at the same time.
If I stay
day.
up, I do too. I get up at 5:30 every morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be waking up at 5:30 and I'll feel like crap all day tomorrow.
You gotta work.
How do you spell Baphomet?
Yeah, I'm gonna work tomorrow.
So what?
BAPHOMET, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
No, I keep getting the underlines. Never mind. It's okay. I'll just misspell it. If
Sorry.
anybody sees a
Don't
DM
know.
with me with the word Baphomet in it, just know that I know that's probably not spelled right.
At least you admitted it. It's okay. Sometimes you can't unless you just have to go out and type it in and figure it out.
Yeah, and I can do that much better
Maybe.
on my phone because it gives me options. So my laptop's not doing it unless, anyway, I don't do stuff. Okay, good night.
All right.
Good night.
Hey, Rusty, is your show done yet? Or are you gonna?
Well,
air-
I finally got my thing. I'm gonna get everything ready. Hopefully by next Sunday, 10:30 at 10:30, and I'm gonna start. I'm waiting on one more thing, but I still have a logo. Thank you, Neil. Appreciate it. That he made for me. So I'm gonna start handing that out.
All right, Rusty, better get a move on. Don Trump Jr. might be running before you get your show on there, buddy.
It seems like it, doesn't it? I swear.
Kimmy, it's BAPHOMET.
Ooh, thank you. You said I think that's what you told me. So I
I
take back.
thought it was. Or close to it.
So now, if anybody gets a DM from me that has Baphomet in it, just know that I am fully aware that I spelled it correctly.
You can use it with confidence.
Yes.
I see the nasty picture that goes with it. Okay,
right,
I'm sorry, I
Rusty.
didn't mean to interrupt the goodbyes.
Rusty, tell them what the name of the show is and when it is.
Fighting
and-
for the Republic.
Okay.
Is what it is. I always have it in the scopes. I'm now. It should be done. I need to contact a couple people to know what's going to happen next week. So it'll be a surprise to all of us.
So, what time and what day?
10:30.
That's how I do my shows. I'm like, okay, well, let's all just join in and be surprised,
And what
including
day?
me.
Rusty, what?
And you know what? There is nothing wrong with that.
10:30. What day?
Sunday.
Okay, there you go.
It feels like
Sunday at 10:30.
guys.
And at 10:30 p.m.
Yes. Yeah. Sunday night.
Eastern time.
Say it all
Is
at
that
one time.
Eastern
Since
Eastern time. Yes.
Okay, now say the whole thing.
yeah, because I interrupted 1,000 times. So do the whole thing. Start over.
They're like a bunch
Fighting
of
for the Republic.
they're like a bunch of crows seeing something shiny.
No,
Fighting for
like
the
a
Republic.
child.
Okay, I'm gonna mute everybody so Rusty can tell us. Oh,
So if I only get one viewer, I know why. No, just kidding.
it's all Doc's fault.
I'm the only one not saying a word for once.
It's still your fault.
You know the difference between a Yankee and a damn Yankee, don't you?
Oh, I gotta open up the chest. All right, Rusty, go ahead.
Fighting. I'm waiting in case I'm interrupted. for the Republic, Sunday at 10:30 Eastern.
PM.
Yeah.
I'm at the bottom of my drink and I wanted so bad to go. But I just didn't have the heart to do it, so I put my drink away. I'm like, I'm not doing it again.
I'm distributing the rewards on DLive. You guys have to wait another 22 seconds, and that's not enough time for Doc to tell you anything. So,
I resent that remark. I have stunned you a few times with the alacrity of my goodbye.
I love that word. Oh, before you say goodbye, I want to say a better goodbye than the one I gave
You
him.
go right ahead.
I want to improve my goodbye.
But you will be interrupted.
I deserve it. It's karma. I have a day. No, I have a title for my show now too. I forgot about it. I changed it back to Angst and Giggles. So y'all congratulate me for finally making a decision.
Woo! I like Angst and Giggles.
I thought it was
Why'd you not
perfect.
like it?
I don't
Well,
know.
why'd
I
you
thought
change it?
Because I did, because I'm a girl. I liked it so much, and I decided that was going to be the name of it. And then I did the whole thing that you had to do on OBS or whatever. And then about 2 weeks later, I was like, I don't like it. So I had been nameless for like 4 months or more. And then when I did that show with Sandra, she was like, I like Angst and Giggles. And it made me rethink, like, well, why don't I like Angst and Giggles? And I couldn't think of a fucking thing. So I recycled it.
So you're back to it. Well, you know what? At least you are flexible.
I am anxious and I giggle. What's the problem? It's perfect. I have all the anus. Not anus and giggles. Scott, West Texas. What did you say, Doc?
I said I like somebody that makes me giggle. That's why I fell in love with my husband. And we're going on 30 years, so.
Yikes.
I must really like, well, I decided, you could either have somebody that was real serious or somebody that would make you laugh and giggle through your life. And so that's what I decided. The only downside to it, though, I will admit after all those years, is he's permanently a child. He doesn't ever grow up. But once you accommodate that, you're fine.
All right.
So is it my turn to say goodbye?
I think we should go around again.
Oh my God.
I feel like there's something else we should say before we say goodbye.
Some of the topic.
I want a Floby update.
Did you? Well, he used it week before last, I think. And came in just like he does every time he uses it and goes, well, saved another $14.
That's so cute.
That's it. And he'll say, honey, can you even it off? The only thing I have to even off is, down at the neckline, at the back. Because he can't, he has trouble with doing it, and backwards in the mirror. And other than that, he cuts it pretty darn perfect.
I see a
Funny.
timer. Are we being timered?
Oh,
Ah,
if we hit 4 hours, are we
no, it
being
gave us a
timered?
countdown to Hagatha on D Live. I see it.
Oh,
Oh my god.
I didn't realize she had Ace Frehley nipples.
what?
Is that our punishment for not saying goodbye or soon enough, Phil?
Yes,
I do feel punished.
he does things like that.
Okay, I'm
He
gonna
was
mute
starting to make
myself.
me fat and wide before the show came on tonight.
I geschmoigered her geflavory with my gugus.
Oh, and Grandma is not here to appreciate that. That just
Oh,
breaks my heart.
Well, see, that's
I'm
what happens when
saying.
you leave early.
I'm
yep.
saying.
Never.
She is a grandma, though, you know. We have to cut her a little slack.
Mm-hmm. She has to take all those vitamins before she goes to bed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys.
All right. Good night, guys. Thank you for coming to visit. Come back and see us next week, because you know what? You don't ever know what we are going to custom discuss. We are a crazy group of people, and you know how Southerners are. As you can see, we believe in putting our crazy on the front porch and serving it sweet tea. So come back for some more crazy next week. We'll see you then, and we'll leave on the porch light for you. So catch you on the flip side.
Good night.
I thought that was pretty short.
Gehoogity
short.
schmoigen.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Have a good night.
All right, shorten that up.
You know what happened in the evening when you started to fade away. Now my heart says you're leaving. I hope to see you again someday. Why did it have to happen?
It's just 2 eyeballs on that one.
You know I miss you every moment. Doesn't matter if it's night. Doesn't matter if it's day. I can't stop the pain inside. This is amazing.